Saturday night, living the dream, ordering drinks with your brothers at deep, pretending we like someone's girlfriend's bad. Put in our boots, carry our heels, stumbling home over the fields, gin from a bottle stolen from your dad. We smoke to choke the feeling, till the walls don't meet the ceiling. All we talk about is leaving. All I know is, no matter how far away, this is the place we were made. I know every street light, and maybe the colors will fade. This is the place we were made, by the late nights and fires on the beach, made by the small town secrets we keep. All that I know is, no matter how far away, this is the place we were made. Paint in my face, straighten my hair, wait for the bus, take us somewhere, anywhere, as far away from home. We're playing poker down in our shed, talking about boys now we call X, freezing cold and we don't even know. We smoke to choke the feeling, till the walls don't meet the ceiling. All we talk about is leaving. All that I know is, no matter how far away, this is the place we were made. I know every street light, and maybe the colors will fade. This is the place we were made, by the late nights and fires on the beach, made by the small town secrets we keep. All that I know is, no matter how far away, this is the place we were made. All that I know is, no matter how far away, this is the place we were made. I know every street light, maybe the colors.
Way.
Oh, is that it? Oh, I need to turn my camera back on.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How is everyone? Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Maisie, stop singing. Hi. We're live streaming. Hello to everyone in the chat. I'm live streaming with Emma today.
Hello,
Emma, do you want to introduce
it's
yourself?
me. I'm Emma. I'm Emma Popcorn on YouTube. I make the videos. I'm a creator and a viewer. Ooh.
Meta. Yeah, and I am the same. I'm also Emma, a creator and viewer. No, I'm Taha. For anyone coming from Emma's people, Emma's crew, your gang. The song that you just heard was by Maisie Peters, who is a fantastic singer, as you just heard. She just released her first single. I'm not paid to promote this. I just really liked the song, and I was like,
that was my first time hearing it, and I think I need to listen to it another like 27 times at least.
Specifically 27. Love it.
Specifically.
Hello to everyone in the chat. Jay, Elizabeth, Sonia, Jada. There's loads of you. Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the creator-viewer divide. And hopefully it'll be a good time.
Good time.
Yeah, so like basically the reason why I wanted to do this with you specifically was because of that one tweet that you did that one time.
That one tweet.
Yeah, the only tweet. You just have one tweet. I can't 100% remember what the wording of it was.
It was about the creative viewer divide within the smaller YouTube community.
Yeah, and I felt like, yeah, I really felt like that was something that like we couldn't talk about on the panel. For anyone who missed it, I was I was moderating the Creative Viewer Divide panel at Summer of the City this year, and that was like an element of it. Well, I love this topic, but also that was an element of it that like we couldn't talk about just simply because there weren't many smaller YouTubers on the panel.
Yeah, I mean, we did touch on it because I moderated the smaller YouTuber panel at SITC, and we definitely touched on that because it was one of my questions about the Creative Viewer Divide with smaller YouTubers, but it wasn't so much necessarily within the community and more kind of just like the divide between the viewers of smaller YouTubers and the smaller YouTubers themselves. So yeah, there's a different ways of looking at it.
Yeah, and I also really liked Emily Eaton and Ruby Macy's video. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah,
of course I did.
Okay.
The one on over-familiarity? Or that one? Or the success on YouTube one? Because there was two.
You cut out for a second. I didn't hear what you just said.
The one on over-familiarity.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That was a really good discussion that I thought was like a good prep of this this chat. So I guess we could start with like what you think about, what you like conceptualize, or like what you think the Creative Viewer Divide is.
Okay.
What does it mean?
Well, I think a lot of people kind of see it as like there's like two groups, like there's like the group of viewers and a group of creators, and like there's a divide between them, but I don't think that's actually like what it is. I think it's more kind of like, especially with smaller YouTubers, like every single creator has their own creative viewer divide, and like it's different for everyone, like because it depends like what kind of content you make and like how many subscribers you have, and like it's like very different on an individual basis, but there are similarities between them. But yeah, it's kind of difficult to navigate because a lot of people are viewers of certain creators, but they're also creators themselves, or like, I don't know, they get treated like a viewer when they're actually, I don't know, more of a creator than a viewer. So like, it's very... So
like, what does it mean? What does it mean to be treated like a creator? Like, this is the thing, like, I feel like I'm kind of drawing from the experience of me. I've never actually gone up to someone who doesn't know who I am, not in a kind of like everyone knows who I am kind of way. If they don't know, in a kind of way that if they don't know who I am, I'd like tend to not go up to them. So like, I don't really have the experience of being treated like a quote unquote viewer. So like, what does it mean to be treated like a viewer as opposed to like being treated like a creator?
I think it's maybe that kind of like, especially kind of when you're talking to people in real life, so like at Summer City and stuff, it's when you're kind of in that kind of meet and greet mindset, like not necessarily if you're at a meet and greet, because it might be like a smaller YouTuber who doesn't have a meet and greet, but like you kind of have the same kind of conversation, like it's like, hello, I like your videos, then you like, I don't know, talk about that for a bit, and then that's kind of the conversation. Like I think
okay, so it's like, is it like an expectation to that the conversation is going to end like very soon?
Yeah, because like I don't know, I feel like people are more find it easier to have a longer conversation, a more casual conversation with someone who like treats them as an equal. And like I know it's like a viewers treating creators as not equals is like a thing that's not great in itself, but like it's a thing that exists, and it makes it harder to talk to people who don't see you as an equal. So whether they see you as like better or worse, like that's a harder conversation to have for a longer period of time, because you're either trying to like live up to this expectation or you're trying to prove yourself all the time. Yeah, I don't know. So I think that those conversations can't last as long.
So do you think it's kind of like a thing? So do you really like, even within the smaller YouTuber community, do you feel this sort of perception that there is a power dynamic still? Because that's kind of what it is, isn't it? If I feel like what we're getting at is that when you're having a interaction that's explicitly creative viewer, it's like there is a kind of seen as this person is above and the other one is below, and that there's like a power thing there.
Yeah, I definitely think that exists. Like, and it's enforced on both sides as well. Like, I know in the past I've seen other creators as like better than me for whatever reason, and I also know that maybe in the past I've like not seen viewers as worse than me, but like I've kind of, I don't know, just like there's a certain just thing that's there, and I guess maybe that's just the divide, but that makes it feel different to just talking to someone who's like on a level with you. I don't know.
I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. I'm playing dumb for a little bit, but I do know exactly what you mean when you're like, you're not treated as being on that level, and kind of it feels like this asymmetrical encounter where it's like when they're seen as a viewer, the creator is perceiving this interaction as about them, but like for the other person, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas when it's a conversation, it's kind of like it's not about one of them and it's not for the other one.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And do you think that's like, because like there is an element of, okay, if you are a viewer of a bigger YouTuber, there will be a certain subsection of viewers who want it to be for them and about the creator.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely experienced that in the past. Like, I used to be way more of a viewer than I was a creator, and like I've gone to meet and greets and kind of really enjoyed them and had that experience where it's been for me but about them, and it's definitely like, it's just a thing that people enjoy, which is not a bad thing, but like obviously not everyone wants that. That's not what every conversation should be.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's like this weird thing where it's like, what are we like? What every time there's an interaction between whether it's a viewer and a creator, or a creator that's also a viewer, and another creator, it's like, do you feel this like weird sort of like, I need to judge whether or not they want an interaction that's about me but for them, or they want a normal chat?
Yeah, it's, I don't know, I always find it weird when people like recognize me and then talk to me, because I feel like, I don't know, it's just a weird situation. Like, I guess it depends on the situation. Like when you're walking around SITC and someone recognizes you and comes up to you and like talks to you about your videos, that's kind of a weird, I don't know, place to be having like a longer like conversation. So I think those are the ones that kind of feel very I don't know, divided.
So I want to challenge that idea actually.
Right.
Is it weird? Like, is that like, I think you mentioned the fact that it's kind of like not brain. Give me a second. I'm buffering. YouTube joke. So you kind of like mentioned this idea that, okay, so at SITC, when someone comes up to you and talks to you, it's like not really the scenario that to have a longer conversation. But is it though? Because like, how was your SITC? Like, how was your SITC in terms of like creator viewer interactions? Like, how many people came up to you? What was that like, and stuff like that?
Not that many people came up to me. I think it maybe like 3. But yeah, most of my interactions were with other creators at SITC, which was different. Yeah. So
okay.
Most of the people I talked to, like I knew as well as them knowing me. So
okay. Yeah, so it was already kind of like an established thing. So you had like a couple of people come up to you who you didn't really know as like creators, and they kind of just wanted to chat to you because they watched your videos.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had the same. I had like, I would say like 5 to 10 people over the course of the 3 days, and like I did notice that they talked to me. They actually, some of them mentioned to me that they were like, one of them I think said like, "You're the most down to earth."
You're frozen? Is this just me? Is this just my bad internet? Oh dear. Oh great. Well, everyone can still see me, right? That's fine. I don't really know what to do in this situation. I'm just... Oh wait, you can't see me? You can hear me? Oh great. I'm sure Taha is trying to fix this, hopefully. Okay, right. Can you guys actually... You guys can't see me though, right? You can just hear my voice. Okay, right. So we're just gonna chat while Taha figures out how to fix everything, hopefully. So, what's happening in the chat? I feel bad like answering any of these questions on my own because Taha isn't here and we need to like do this together. Oh wait, oh. Is it fixed yet? Perhaps? No? Okay. Greg says, as a creator and a viewer, I felt like I was always playing a weird game of guessing how well somebody knew me as I was talking to them. I definitely relate. I usually just assume people don't know me if I don't know that they know me. So when I was at SITC this year, some people, I spoke to some people and they were like, oh yeah, I know who you are. And I was like, this is strange. Okay, Taha's internet died. He'll be back. He'll fix it. It'll be fine. But yeah, I had the strange experience of people finding out that people knew me, and like at SITC and not knowing that they knew me before, which was weird, definitely. So yeah, it was kind of like a weird guessing game. What's happening? Do you agree with... Fran says, do you agree with Greg's comment about the SITC environment not allowing for casual chats at all? When was that? Did Greg make a comment ages ago? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, maybe it doesn't really, because it's not really a casual environment. It's all very high speed. Everyone's trying to go places and do things. Even at the parties, like people kind of want to get around and talk to lots of different people. So it's kind of, it's not a very casual environment in general. Yeah, it's my channel now. Rebecca says it's my channel now. Yeah, I am commandeering the channel. Oh, I think maybe this is gonna be fixing. KhanStopMe. That is true. This is me. Like the last KhanStopMe live stream I was in, I was the moderator and I was just letting that power get to my head, and now I have the stage. This is my channel now. Greg says it's a convention, not a gathering. It felt like everyone had somewhere to be. That's definitely true. It is a weird environment to meet people. Is there a casual way to meet other creators? I'm part of a small YouTubers group, but yeah, I'd love more of that. I mean, my way of doing it is usually gatherings and Twitter and such. Oh, hello, you're back.
Hey!
I was trying to keep it going. It wasn't really working, but sure.
That would have been my worst nightmare if I just got like dropped and like left on someone's channel.
It was for like a while. I just sat here like I don't know what I'm saying.
Did you get my message?
Yeah.
Okay.
I informed everyone of what was happening.
Yeah, I had to like run and like reset the thing.
Oh god.
Okay, let me just get my bearings. What did I miss? Guys, I'm back.
We were talking about SITC not being a very good environment for forming new friendships and talking to people and having conversations.
I remember. And when did I get dropped? Because I was on one. I was like ranting.
I didn't hear like any of what you said, so you're gonna have to recap.
Okay. So I said like I was gonna challenge you on whether or not that like that dynamic of someone coming up to you and being like, hey, I like your videos, isn't a good place to chat about like whatever. Because I realized that like I had like, you know, I had a similar number of people come up to me, like 5 to 10 people. And I noticed that, in fact, like a couple of them, like they actually like mentioned to me that they were like, oh, this feels like the most like real interaction that I've had all of SITC. And like, to me, I was like, I don't know if that's, I was like, I don't know if you're just saying that or whether or not you don't know many small YouTubers, so you've only had like the meet and greet style interaction or whatever. But then I quizzed one of the people who mentioned it, being like, what do you mean when you say that? Like, that's an interesting point. And they were kind of like one of them mentioned that they felt like there wasn't a interest in like what their lives were like when interactions happened, like the creator viewer interactions, because I hate talking about me. So like, it's kind of like my natural thing to like flip it on them and be like, what's going on in your life?
Yeah.
And I feel like, do you feel like that's something that is missing from a creator viewer interaction?
Well, for me, I think the reason why I just find those interactions really uncomfortable, and I think the reason that is because I feel a certain expectation in those interactions to like live up to the person I am in my videos. To like, it's not like I'm a character in my videos at all. It's more like just like
more animated.
Yeah, and like it's quite hard to kind of be that in real life. And yeah, I just feel like there's a certain expectation there. Which scares me. So I'm like, I just want to get out of this as fast as I can, which is bad because I enjoy meeting people and talking to people and everything. It's just.
But do you see like this is like I was talking to someone at VidCon. Do you might some of you guys might know who he is. CGP Grey. So he doesn't show his face online. His videos are like educational, but he doesn't show his face, so no one really knows what he looks like. And he hates meeting people. Like if you're a viewer, like he just wants to never see you. So like I feel like there's like a part of that where you like I'm not saying you are like that, but like it's kind of like perhaps like a position that some people actually feel. And like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that to a certain extent I don't enjoy those interactions, but then it's kind of balanced out by the fact that like there's a certain validation to it, and there's a certain like it's nice to put a face to a number and stuff, and like to actually, or to a username, and to like actually see people in real life. It kind of brings home like the fact that you're actually talking to real people, because you can sometimes forget that when you're talking to a camera. But then at the same time, because of that expectation and like I don't know, trying to make conversation with someone who already like knows you to a certain extent, like that just kind of is a weird dynamic for me, and it makes me uncomfortable, definitely.
Yeah, so it's kind of like this like asymmetry of information. Do you think that accurately describes it? Like I know nothing about you, you know like a lot about me.
Yeah, and I think it works the other way around as well. Like when you're approaching someone who doesn't know who you are, but you've seen their videos, like that feels weird as well, because you feel like you need to like prove yourself as someone who is worth talking to, or at least that's how I feel.
Yeah, I can see that. As in, that's, yeah, I think that's interesting, because it's kind of like a thing where you're kind of like, oh, I don't want you to be, you kind of want them to be interested. Is that because like they're kind of talking to you being like, oh, hey, you watch my videos, and like do you feel like there's like an element of you feeling like you don't have, like, they don't have any reason to be talking to you?
Yeah, because I mean, I guess maybe it fits in with the whole like not valuing yourself as much as you value like other creators or creators you, I don't know, see as better than you, and then therefore you feel like you need to prove yourself, prove that you are as good as them, but like also like that's hard.
Yeah. And like, and also to a degree, like you are as good as them. Like your hashtag good enough promoting Nathan. I did that all of SITC. It was so embarrassing. What was I doing? Oh, so something that I saw Savannah Brown talking about on Twitter after SITC was like, I've got the tweet up, which was, so I'm super struggling with the idea that waiting in line to take a picture with me and talk for 20 seconds really gives you anything. And she says, I don't know, man, it must be stress that I'm not trying to be nasty, but more an internal crisis. The whole ritual seems slightly hollow. And like, I agree, because like I talked to everyone that I met, because of like, I had like 7 people come up to me. I was just like, oh, hey, let's go get slushies. I want a slushie. Let's because I like, there's only 7. It's like literally 7 people over the course of 3 days. So you can literally just be like, just take him along to whatever you're doing, kind of thing. If they're like up for that. Whereas like with someone like Savannah or like a more traditional interaction that I feel like smaller YouTubers still have, they're still like kind of like, they treat it, they like, do you ever feel like they impose the like conventions of bigger YouTubers onto the interactions of smaller YouTubers?
Well, to be honest, I don't think I've ever approached a smaller YouTuber like as a viewer, because I'm just so afraid of that like dynamic, because I would just find that so uncomfortable with a smaller YouTuber. I don't know why that would be more uncomfortable with a smaller YouTuber than a bigger YouTuber.
Have you ever seen that with it? Because I've seen it with smaller YouTubers where I'm like just standing next to them and someone who watches them comes up to them and they like switch on to this like meet and greet mode, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like who do you see?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've probably done it. Like, I genuinely think like just because I'm so uncomfortable in that situation, I'm just like cling to whatever I know to do. Like, I'm just like, hi, yeah, like you just kind of jump on
like the things that you've seen and you kind of emulate that because you don't know. Do you think it's like an element of like you don't know what the protocol is?
Yeah, I think especially for well, I just think for YouTube in general, like YouTube is like such a weird thing. Like you don't get very often meet and greets with Beyonce kind of thing, like because they have this like, that's why I think the divide between creator and viewer on YouTube is so like talked about, is because it's actually weaker than with like mainstream celebrities, because you can have meet and greets and stuff like that, but it's still like it's there, and like we're very aware of it. But yeah, so like no one knows what they're doing. That's what I'm trying to say. Like there's this thing like built up from conventions of like meet and greets and stuff, but like that's not like something that is a protocol that you like know from when you're young, because it's a really abstract concept.
Yeah, I definitely get what you mean. It's like this weird thing where, because it's not as defined, especially in the smaller YouTuber world, where you don't have like a line of people, so there's not like there's no like, this is how you do it, and like this is how you should approach it, and so it becomes this weird thing of like, sometimes people jump into things that they've seen bigger YouTubers do, even though they don't have to, because there's not a queue waiting for them. Because I feel like some of these bigger YouTubers, like especially from the conversations that I've had with like Savannah and like with Lucy, they don't want to be doing the meet and greet style things the way that it's kind of set up to run, but because there's such a line, they kind of just have to. And then I feel like smaller YouTubers adopt that because they've seen it done and they emulate it as like the same way like the jump cut was done by like Zay Frank, and then everyone was like, oh, this seems like something that we should be doing. Here we go, everyone jump cut.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
So like linked to that question, how should you approach it?
I don't
I'm going to be watching
know.
the chat right now because I assume people are going to have thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way you do it sounds very good, and I wish I'd thought of that. Just like being, I know it doesn't sound that crazy, just like being like, hey, you want to come along with what we're doing, or do you just want to like talk for a bit? Like sounds like it should be obvious, but like I just never considered like that, which is weird. But also, I don't know, I think that is kind of, it's just weird to me because there is this divide there. So the idea of just completely ignoring it and like just adopting them as friends seems strange.
No, I agree because I don't want to adopt them as friends. So I have this kind of thing where there are people who we have like people in the chat who are like, who would be considered bigger YouTubers, who I'd really like to like pick their brains and be like, what could like quiz them. Like Che is in here, I can see him,
right?
And I would say that he was a bigger YouTuber. But like I think one of the reasons that I feel like, so I don't consider a lot of people friends. I consider them like acquaintances, and so in my mind, like YouTube friends that I'm not close to, so like people who were just like mutuals, or like I talk to them a lot on Twitter, like I just consider them acquaintances. And so when a viewer comes along, like in my brain, they're like, okay, they're an acquaintance, rather than like there's not a separate category in my brain for like viewer. It's like they're also an acquaintance, and then like I've got like a very small set of people that I would consider friends, and like so I treat them like an acquaintance. And like a lot of the time, and I think one of the reasons is I don't follow many people on Twitter, and I don't follow many YouTube channels. I don't subscribe to many YouTube channels, but I like watch videos like sporadically. I'll just like go on people's Twitters and like just be like stalking everyone all of the time,
right?
Which is weird, but like that's kind of the way I do it. But it does mean that like when it comes to like SITC, like I've interacted with most people in the smaller YouTuber community like a lot. And so I'm just like, oh, they're an acquaintance. I've seen their face before. And so when someone that I've interacted on Twitter comes along and they're just a viewer, in my brain, they're already like in the acquaintance slot because I interact with them already.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that. I think when I know who someone is, like there was a girl who approached me at SITC. Her name's Izzy. She's very nice. And I knew who she was because I'd spoken to her like on Instagram before, and I like so I recognized like her name and everything. And with her, I think it definitely was more of a kind of like of a normal conversation because like I felt like she was an acquaintance, like I already kind of knew who she was. Whereas when someone like a complete stranger came up to me and was like, hey, I know who you are, and I'm like, oh,
it's like a blank
nice.
slate.
Yeah. So I just find, I guess that's just harder when you don't like you just have no idea who they are. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm just looking at the chat. If you want to look at the chat as well and figure out if there's any comments, so I don't feel like I'm ignoring you, because I know that we've been ignoring it. And what would it mean to talk about the creator viewer divide without looking at the people who are viewing? I think a smaller YouTuber party at the London YouTube space would be nice. That's interesting. But even then, they've said, so Erin, who I know, who's a friend of mine, Erin said like, oh, it'll be nice. And then she said plus 100 subscribers to 500 subscribers. And I'm like, you still put a number on 100. And that's so interesting. It's like, what's this like 100 people have to be watching you?
Yeah, I mean, that's literally my least favorite thing about the YouTube space, the fact that they're like, you have to have 1,000 subscribers to socialize with people who are on YouTube. Like, I get why they do it, because it's kind of like, I guess it's because of the creative viewer divide, maybe, because they're like, they don't want people who are fans turning up and like, I don't know, messing everything up. But like, I just don't like that, because I remember when I didn't have 1,000 subscribers and I was like, I want to get involved in the community, I want to meet people, I want to like learn things, and the YouTube space was like, you can't do that yet, you gotta build up an audience. And I was like, okay, sure.
Okay, yeah, because I feel that as well. So I now have more than 1,000 subscribers, so I can use the space. But before, like last year, I had like 1,000 subscribers, and then the year before I had like 500 subscribers, and the year before that I had 100 subscribers. So it's been a bit crazy for me, where like I still feel like I have 500 subscribers, but I don't. And so like I feel that way, like when I see those like limits, I'm like, oh, but I have 500. Oh wait, I don't have 500 anymore. But I like feel that for a second. And so like, but do you think there's anything like, do you think there's anything we can do about that?
I mean, we can't really change necessarily what the YouTube space does, other than like trying to talk to them and be like, please change this. But we can create our own spaces to do these things, such as like gatherings, and there was like Community Unite and stuff like that. Like there are other, you have to go around the barriers that they put there.
Yeah, so it's kind of like okay, well, if you don't want to invite us into our space, we'll make our own space and be like, hey, we're gonna hang out here because we're cool. And I feel that. I think that's cool. Especially shout out to Mary Aikman, who did Community Unite. He's a friend of mine. I'm seeing more comments about. Oh, I have a suggestion. Che, if you are available, we can get you on for like 10 minutes and like quiz you about being a bigger YouTuber. I think it would be really interesting.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But like on that topic, we've talked a lot about what it's like for smaller YouTubers to be meeting viewers. But like there was a thread about, oh, let me find this thread. I shared it, and so did you, I think. I think you know the thread I'm talking about. It's like being a viewer and just a viewer.
Just a viewer. Matty knows what we're talking about. He was the one at the panel who was like, this YouTuber called me just a viewer because I had less than this number of subscribers.
Oh, yikes. Hold on, let's have a look. Come on, Che, speak up. Yeah, Che, speak up. Oh, so people are saying, oh, Lena, who I consider to be a smaller YouTuber, but that's maybe because of my perception. But people are saying, oh, Lena, you're technically a bigger YouTuber too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say she's probably somewhere in between, maybe. There's like, it's not just like bigger YouTubers, smaller YouTubers. There's like,
yeah. Let's have a look. Yeah, I definitely think it's like I think like the way I conceptualize SITC and the smaller YouTuber divide is like, not the smaller YouTuber divide, creator viewer divide, is like, you have like someone who is simply a viewer. I'm going to use simply, not just a viewer, who doesn't make any videos. And then you have like these huge mega famous people like Zoella and Bethany Motor and all of them. And it's like this like sliding scale. And when it comes to SITC just have to be like, right, where are we just like making this line? And they just have to draw this line on this like thing that isn't binary.
Yeah.
And like, but like, and I feel like the reason that SITC have to do that, like, call me out if I'm being like biased towards SITC, because obviously I worked for them. But like, I feel like the reason SITC have to do that is because in the physical space, rather than the online space, you have to have like there's like physical limitations.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see why it's necessary, because with especially certain creators, like the creator viewer divide is so strong that it's like you have the kind of fangirl situation, and I'm not saying it's bad to be a fangirl, like it's fine, but it means that like people get so excited and they put people on such a pedestal that it can be dangerous for them to be like just freely around them, like because you have situations where people will just like get mobbed,
Yeah.
and so they have to, like, from a safety perspective, like it's just necessary.
Yeah. Oh, so Chase chipped in with saying that there is a huge difference between meeting younger audience members and older audience members.
I agree with that.
I saw that because this SITC, generally the people who come up to me are like, you know, from 14 to like 27. But this time, not 14, it's like 16 to 27. Like I can always talk to because I'm a massive nerd. Like if they're like my age or younger, I'm like, oh, what you're doing for GCSEs and what you're doing for A-level, and I like want to talk about that. But this time I had someone come up to me who was 13 with their mum, and both their mum and them watched my video.
Oh,
I know, it was adorable. But that was like really interesting because I was like interacting with two people who were of different ages, and so you were having like this like different conversation, and that's something that I haven't had much experience with. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my viewers are younger. Like I have a lot of people who watch my live streams who are like 12, and I'm like, I don't understand why you find my channel interesting, but sure, great. And I find that it's weird, I don't know, to have that conversation because I don't know, I feel like I do kind of like befriend a lot of people who watch my videos. Like my one of my closest internet friends, like we became friends because she watched my videos, and she's not particularly, well, she is a creator now, but she wasn't at the time. But like now with like 12-year-olds who message me and they're like, hey, let's be friends, I'm like, but it's not just that I don't want to be friends with a 12-year-old, but also because that's just a bit weird.
Also, they're 12 and you are however old you
18, are. Yeah. It's just a weird.
Because you're technically an adult at that point. That's strange. So I've got a couple of thoughts that I've been looking at the things. I saw that someone said it's also weird when people are mutuals with you on some platforms and not others. How do you feel about that? Because I don't follow you on Twitter.
No, you don't.
But I watch your videos.
Yeah.
So like, this is a good example of like, what do you, feel free to like, just be like, what's up with that, Taha? Like, what are you doing? Because like, I didn't add Yasmin on Facebook for like a year, and she flamed me on a live stream before it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how I feel. I'm fine with you not following me on Twitter. Like that's chill. Because like I can understand like that. There's a lot of my YouTube, well, not a lot of my YouTube friends, but some of my YouTube friends, I just don't watch their videos, and like that's a bit of an awkward situation to be in, kind of. Especially people assume you watch their videos and you don't. But like I feel like you have no obligation necessarily to follow people on every single platform that there is. Like it's just yeah, I don't know.
Do you feel like do you feel like there's like a level of like, oh, they don't see me as like a peer and that's why they don't follow you on everything ever? Because I've had that, like, when I was like before, like when I was young, when I had a smaller number of people following me, and I guess I was like a little bit more insecure about my content and all of that. Like I found that, oh, if someone commented on my YouTube video and then I followed them on Twitter and they didn't follow me back, I felt like, oh, they don't see me as like they see this like viewer. There's like a viewer thing there. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I can see that. I think, but I think I think it's more of like an equal thing. Like, for example, like if you watch my videos,
Yeah.
so, and I watch your videos, so like that puts
Nice.
us on equal ground. And like some people, I follow them on Twitter, and watch their videos, but they don't follow me on Twitter or watch my videos. So like that's not.
Do you feel like a viewer in that instance?
Yeah, totally.
And so at SITC, if you see them and you go up to them, would you go up to them?
To be honest, no. Like I saw so many smaller YouTubers around SITC, and I was like, I'm not gonna go talk to you because I don't want that dynamic to be there. And I even felt like a pressure, like when I saw people at parties, to like pretend I hadn't seen their videos, which is like weird. But like I didn't want that dynamic. I didn't want people to be like, oh, this person is a viewer of me, so I need to like get my meet and greet head on.
Oh, so you would be like, if there's like someone you watch, you'd be like, oh, I think I've seen some of your videos before, even if you watch them a lot. Like, is that?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
I've definitely done that. I've definitely done that. Like, to be fair, okay, so I did this. So I'm a huge fan of this guy called Bernie Burns, who set up this company called Rooster Teeth that's got like 16 million subscribers. It's like this massive deal, and I'm like, this man is a genius. I want to be him. I want to learn from him. Like literally, and I got to meet him. And like for the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh hi, I'm Taha, and he was like, oh hi, I'm Bernie. Like this is my girlfriend Ashley, and I'm like, oh my god, all of these people. But like, I was like, oh yeah. I used to watch you when I was a kid, but like I still watch them religiously.
Yeah.
And so I have done that where I'm like, I don't want this interaction to be.
Yeah, I mean, this year at Summon City especially, like I had this very strange dynamic where, because I was moderating the small YouTuber panel, so many more smaller YouTubers who I watched knew who I was, but they only just had found out who I was, whereas I'd maybe been watching them for like months or even like years. So it was very strange for them to be like, oh yeah, you're Popcorn, yeah, I saw on Twitter you're doing the panel, yeah. And I was like, yeah.
Oh, so you were Emma Popcorn from the panel, not Emma Popcorn, the YouTuber who's the person.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
or like, oh yeah, you're Emma Popcorn, like, I have mutual friends with you and stuff like that. So it wasn't so much of a, like most of those people hadn't really seen my videos necessarily. They just kind of knew who I was vaguely. And I was like, yeah, sure. But I know who you are more than vaguely, which is strange.
Okay, I get that. Hold on. Che has said, oh, I'm excited. Che has said that he's up for being on it. So I'm trying to figure out how that works again because I'm dumb. So so this time around you were like more confident about that? Would you say?
About being on a different like knowledge level with people, like how well I knew them versus how well they knew me, you mean?
Yeah. Oh, like you felt like even if they didn't watch your videos, you could go up to them because you could be like, oh, I'm doing the small YouTuber panel.
Yeah.
So like there's a way that you can be like, hey, I'm not just a viewer.
Yeah, I had this proof. I was like, yeah, this is proof that I am, because like, especially since it is the small YouTuber panel, I could be like, yeah, I'm a small YouTuber clearly because that's why I'm doing it. Which is weird, but yeah.
Interesting.
It was very helpful.
You're welcome. I'm gonna catch up on the chat while hopefully Che gets on, and then we can quiz him on being a real life big YouTuber. Wow. I think that'll be exciting. We'll probably get more people. Like everyone in here is generally like a viewer and a creator. That'll be exciting. Let's see. Yeah, just shout out any good comments that you think.
I'm just gonna run and get some water. Oh wait.
Okay. No, you can go get some water. I'll vamp with Che.
Hey buddy.
So this is Che, a real life big YouTuber.
Is that what I am? Is that all I am to you?
Yeah. Yeah, obviously. I mean, you're only here for the views.
Yeah. You want me to retweet it now and I'll share it now? I'm only kidding. How are you guys doing? Oh wait, where did Emma go?
She went to get some
I was literally
water.
about to say hi to her. I don't think I've ever met her before.
She went to get some water. She also hates you. No, I'm
Oh,
joking.
okay, yeah, that's fair enough. I do too.
Oh, so I'm just going to catch up on the chat real quick. So if you want to catch up on the chat and like,
Yeah, I was reading it.
you could do that. Okay, so I have a comment here from me. What's his name? I had it here. Hold on one sec. Where is it?
I mean, before you play that, let's just say how great Lena is, because Lena's the best, right? She's still here?
I think so.
Shout out to Lena.
Shout out to Lena. Only once, though. We can't
it.
be inflating her ego too much. So Mimi Matty said that I said hi to you on Sunday, and it was nice talking about the Warwick Coventry rivalry. And like I feel so we're talking. That was when we were talking about like how I chat to people rather than like go into meet and greet mode.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting for you. Like, do you feel that like if you're like just chilling like in London and someone comes up to you, do you feel that pressure to like
to perform, to be on?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think there's a difference. Like, there's some people that you meet and it's like the experience for them. All they like, some people only want like to just say hi briefly, so they don't even want a conversation. Or obviously some people want to get a photo or something like that. They're not really wanting a longer conversation, or maybe they don't feel comfortable in it. But then there's some people that you meet that will start just like they'll ask you a question, and I'm like way more than happy to have a conversation with those people. In terms of like the actual, I don't know, like being in like, as you said, meet and greet mode, I think there's always going to be some kind of, we've talked about this before in the past, that there's always going to be some kind of like facade in the way of like, this isn't the real me. Like this, if I meet someone that I've never met before, I'm never going to act the same way that I would if I'm just speaking to my housemate or my friends, you know? But I don't know. I think there's
why it, like, is that because you did like, you've got to be nice to them? And like, you feel like it's kind of like, oh, well, I met Che this one time and he was like a massive dick.
Yeah, I hope no one says that. Yeah, no, like, I mean, I had this conversation yesterday with another YouTuber, and it's like the thing of you just as a human being, you don't want to go away from an interaction and somebody think you're a dick, right? You don't ever want that. So like, yeah, you do try and like be nice and like make sure the person you're speaking to is having a good experience. Yeah.
So it's that thing where it's like kind of like, you know, about you in a way, but for them.
Yeah, it's weird, but then I think that comes back to a bigger conversation of like human interaction, right? Of like you're trying to do that with most people. Like even if I'm meeting somebody that has no idea I do YouTube, I still want them to think I'm a nice person because I want to be a nice person to them. No, it's not even that I want them to think I'm a nice person. I want to be a nice person, and I want that to come across, if that makes sense. And I think the same just translates to meeting people that watch your videos.
Yeah, I think there's more to it than that though. Because there's more expectation there, because these people like they already know who you are, like they already have a preconceived idea of who you are. So if you don't live up to that, then that's more of a thing than with a complete stranger.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously that depends on who you are, but like I think for me, I'd always want to like make sure anyone I meet, like it's a good interaction, or hopefully. But yeah, no, completely. If they already have a preconceived notion of like, they watch your videos and they this is how they think you are, like you don't want to let them down, because like in reality, the majority of people that you meet that want to say hi or get a photo or anything like that and just meet you randomly, this is probably going to be the only time they meet you. So you don't want to go away from that kind of interaction, I don't know, it being weird for them, or like majority of the time, this is kind of like the first question you asked, is like the majority of the time, I think it's very difficult to have a kind of conversation, and maybe it's different, maybe we all have different audiences here, but like have a meaningful conversation that is anything more than like a few lines or anything like that. Like if my meet and greet at SITC, for example, the majority of people didn't want to have like long-winded conversations, and that's absolutely fine. But the ones that did, I'm like, I love it. Like that's one of my favorite parts, honestly. Like if I could do that for like 5 hours, obviously I'd be dead by the end of it, but like I would just have like very long conversations with people. Like the panel I did that you put me on, Taha, like that was just, I think it was just before my meet and greet, and then I did my meet and greet, and there was so many people that were like, we just saw you on the panel. I was like, okay, this is awesome. Like, what did you think of it? I had really good conversations with them. And then like the next person will be like, we're talking about younger and older a second ago. Like next person will be like a 13-year-old with their parents, and they just want to come over and say hi briefly. And they don't want to talk about anything. But I think either way, you want to have like a good conversation, good interaction with them. But I think that just differs from like. So
there's like, I feel like there's something like a clear distinction here in one of the things you mentioned, which was like, you said that you were like, you know, this is probably the only time that you'll meet the person. Whereas I don't know about you, Emma, but like in the smaller YouTuber community, do you find that like you're meeting the same people?
Yeah, I mean, in fact, it was weird because some people that I meet and they're like viewers of me, they're now my friends. Like this year, the reason why a lot of the people I met were like creators that I like knew was because like the year before they'd come up to me and been like, hey, I watched your videos, and then we talked for a bit, and then we talked on Twitter afterwards, and now we're friends. And it was like, it can actually like grow from just being like a viewer creator relationship to being like, I don't know, more than that. Yeah.
Like, Che, I don't know about your YouTube like history, because like I've only started watching your videos, but like, have you been quote unquote big for a while? Like, what's that like?
Big.
Or like, have you ever considered yourself a small YouTuber, or like in the smaller YouTuber community?
Yeah, but like 2000 and I mean, I still think I'm a fucking weird kid. I can swear on this, right? It's a live stream. Is that okay?
I guess you can.
I don't. But yeah. I still think it's the weirdest thing in the world. But like in terms of, you're saying like big YouTuber with like multiple people like at events, like having meet and greets and stuff for maybe like the last 3 years, so since maybe like late 2014, and then before that, like the early SITC gatherings that I went to, then I considered myself like a smaller YouTuber. But it's weird, like I wish I had this kind of like, I was part of the community that you guys keep talking about, of like a smaller YouTube community, and that I know we've talked about before, Taha, because when I was like a smaller YouTuber just making videos, and I had like maybe 2,000 subscribers over like 2 different channels for like a couple of different years, I was like, didn't think anything of that. I didn't think there was a community. So yeah, I guess maybe to answer your question, like 3 or 4 years or so.
Okay, so at this point, would you okay, this is a good thing to ask both of you actually. So how do you feel about making friends with other creators, some of which that are defined as bigger than you? Because like, do you ever feel like there's a weird dynamic there, even when you're friends? I actually got a question on Twitter, I think it was, which was like, let me find it. It was basically like, how do you become friends with a YouTuber that's bigger than you? And I found that question to be phrased weirdly. It's like, why?
Yeah, that is odd. That the wording of that is weird.
What would you class as like a YouTuber that's bigger than you? Because like, I don't know, like obviously I'd say like, Che, you're a bigger YouTuber than me, but like Taha, you have more subscribers than me, but you
would win at a fight, so
sure. But like I wouldn't necessarily say like you're like that much. I don't know, I wouldn't be scared to talk to you.
Nice.
That's what I'm saying.
No, yeah, I agree. So, but would if you like, in a SITC sense, you've never talked to Che before, would you go up to him?
No, I wouldn't. He held the door open for me at the loos. Didn't talk to him.
At going to the same loos?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got lost. No.
Okay.
Why would you not come? I guess, is that just a thing of like, you just don't know me, or is that?
I don't know. I think it's just the idea of like not valuing yourself as much as other creators, not necessarily thinking they're better than me, but like that they don't have time for me. especially because like if it's in like a green room situation, because like people go there to relax and see their friends, like not to like talk to some random person.
I had an interesting experience in the green room this year of like, usually what you just said like is like, if I'm meeting people and then I come back to the green room, like the thing I want to do is just relax, because it's like that much human interaction just tires you out, so you just want to chill out. But I met so many people that I'd never met before in the green room this year.
How much time did you spend outside of the green? Sorry for interrupting, but like, how much time did you spend outside of the green room on the floor, or is that something you can't do?
Define the floor. Do you mean like the actual outside the barriers, or do you mean like behind the barriers? You mean?
I don't even know what it means to be behind the barriers.
So you mean like on the floor, on the actual like showroom floor?
Yeah, like as a person.
I did it once because I knew that there was a bunch of people who didn't get my meet and greet, so I wanted to go meet them. Okay. So I went outside of the event and then ended up having a meet and greet inside. And then apart from that, I only got to see the actual event area on the last day when Dodie was singing and no one was there.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, it's all right. It's just a lot of shops and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you like, can you even do that? Like, do you think that's like, do you think security be like, no, we need you to?
They did. It was, so I had a weird moment. I think we talked about this. I keep saying we talked about this, but that's because we had like one of the longest conversations we've had with anyone in a long time recently. Me and Taha just talked nonstop for like 5 hours about YouTube related stuff. It was great. But I'm having like a weird crisis at the moment of like, this is a weird thing. So I did my little meet and greet outside. They told me I had to come back in. And it was the moment of like, I don't even know how many people there was. There's probably only like 40 people, but it felt like 1,000, like around me being like, let's get a photo. And I was like, yeah, but we got to go inside. And then the security was like, yeah, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, this isn't what like I want. I'm not fulfilled by this. Like my ego isn't getting boosted by being like, yeah, there's like 40 people around me right now. And it kind of relates back to what you guys were just talking about, what Savannah said of like, what is this experience of like, she was talking about meet and greets, but like I'm just talking about like that whole thing of like, even for creators of like, this is a weird thing, isn't it, that like we're just, I don't know, people are being idolized and they're enjoying it, and then like the meet and greet process of like somebody getting a photo and then going away is like a very odd thing.
I mean, I remember my first SITC, I went kind of like as a fangirl, and it was so weird to me now, but like at the time it was like, collect the YouTubers. So I'd like go try and meet as many YouTubers as I could, and then I'd like and have like photos with all of them. I'd be like, look at all these YouTubers I met, and like, but it's not like I had a meaningful conversation with most of them. It was just that I felt like, oh, I'm special because I interacted with these special people, and like I think that's the mentality some people have, which is why kind of.
Would you say you enjoyed that and you don't regret doing that? Like you're glad you did that?
I mean, I had a fun time. Thinking back, I don't think it was particularly healthy to have like to put people on like those kind of pedestals. Because when you put someone on a pedestal, you're automatically thinking that you're worse, which I don't think is a very good mindset, but a lot of people have it. But I had a fun time, so ultimately wasn't like a malicious thing, but yeah.
What was your original question, by the way, Taha? I feel like we got off.
Yeah. Like a malicious thing, but
oh,
hey.
Lena, you need to mute the chat, mute the live stream, by the way.
Face so much bigger. Like a malicious thing.
Oh, Lena, you've got the live stream still on. It's driving me crazy.
So much bigger. Like a malicious thing.
Oh, Lena, you've got the live stream still on. It's driving me crazy.
Oh, I understand.
There's the realization. That's amazing.
How do you live stream? I don't understand.
That's amazing.
Okay, so I'm gonna in the concern, I don't know, in the hopes of keeping this somewhat organized, I'm gonna put like a 30-minute timer on this segment so we can like talk about other things as well. Is that cool with everyone? It better be, because I'm gonna do it anyway. But yeah, okay. So, Lena, you said you had thoughts, so I put you on this. So give us your thoughts.
Okay, so my thoughts
Okay. I made some notes, guys. I made some notes.
Okay, so I have a question for Lena before. So you don't like SITC or like conventions, not SITC specifically.
I mean, I say it strongly to my friends, and now I'm in public, I'll say it like mildly. I do not like SITC. But I love people, so I do go sometimes. But like, if I can't go for some reason, like this year I was literally like on holiday, I'm just like, yes. Like, and I know that's really horrific because when I go I enjoy it, but I don't know, I just it sends me into an existential crisis every year, and I feel like I step a step back as a creator every time I go, and it's kind of worth it because I end up meeting really cool people, but for me and the way I create, I'm like, oh, it just makes me feel weird. Like, I don't know.
Why does it make you feel weird?
I feel like it mixes, like, I feel like it mixes up my professional attitude and my personal attitude, because when I go to the green room, I feel like a lot of other people are at work and they're networking like they're at work, and they are at work and I'm not. And it makes me feel very strange. And like, I can network, that's the thing that I can do, and I've been a publicist, but like it feels weird in my brain to try and do that for YouTube. So yeah, and then I don't know, I also feel like the merch and the barriers and stuff, it's just not, because I'm medium, because I'm like, whatever, this is lukewarm, like there is no reason for the barriers. So it's just a weird place for me to be a creator. But as a viewer, I don't think I'd go, honestly, because of the price. Like if I wasn't getting in for free, I wouldn't go, because it wouldn't be something I felt like I had access to if I was like younger. And I don't know how much viewers get out of it apart from meeting each other. Is that controversial? I don't know.
Well, I feel like that's
when
not.
You attend as a viewer and you meet other viewers, you're adding value to that event. Like, I don't know if the event has intrinsic value. Does that make sense?
I think it doesn't have intrinsic value to you.
Yeah.
Because you don't. I feel like you don't watch the YouTubers that people are going there to meet.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like you can't. I'm going to call you out a little bit, but I feel like we can't sit here, or like I feel like if you aren't like a viewer who's into the creators that come to SITC and like the things that SITC facilitate, I don't know if we can speak on that experience and then kind of like.
I mean, I was that person.
Yeah, so was I. Like,
yeah, and I loved SITC. My first SITC was the best weekend of my life.
But was it meeting the other people? Because I think like that's really cool, but it doesn't, like, you know, like but the way the event is run makes me feel really weird, and I think it could be a lot better.
I don't know. I think now the reason I go to SITC is to meet other people, and it's like to meet friends and to like be involved in the community. But back then it was about meeting my favorite YouTubers, which is like something I don't necessarily like anymore. So I don't know. Yeah.
So this is like a really interesting like point of tension, where I was someone who made YouTube videos in 2014. That's when I think I just started or was gonna start. And I went to SITC not to meet people. I didn't want to interact with other viewers, but I also didn't want to interact with YouTubers. Like none of the YouTubers I watched came apart from Vsauce. And so I went like not like with the intention of, oh, I'm going to meet other viewers and like chat to them. And when I got there, like my favorite part of that event was talking to medium-sized creators. And they were talking to the medium-sized creators that I watched. And the reason for that was like, I wanted to have more than a 5-minute conversation, but I went specifically to talk to the creators that I watched and not to talk to viewers. And so I feel like it's like I feel like as people who are creators and or who are within the community, we've like theorized this like idea of, yes, people are coming to just interact with other people and they aren't there because of what SITC attract intrinsically. So I'm disagreeing with you a little bit on that, but then also like I know that now I go to meet people that I know, because I also, because the first year that I went, I was the only, like, I went with 2 of my school friends because I didn't have friends who were like YouTube friends who liked YouTube. I just literally just went with school friends who like barely watched YouTube. And like they had a couple YouTubers that they knew that were coming. And like we just went and we're kind of just like, we're just here because we don't know anyone else who likes YouTube. And we want to like YouTube in a space. And we all have people now, friends who get YouTube and understand YouTube. And like SITC is a place where everyone gets that. And so that's my defense of SITC in 2014 when I went as that with that experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Thoughts?
I think that's why I liked SITC, because I didn't necessarily go to meet other people, but it was more that it was just like everything that I loved, like YouTube and this cool internet world was like, but like in real life. So even though I didn't actually necessarily talk to anyone, like it was just cool to be in that environment where like it's just so accepting, and like there's just cool arty things and like people talking about YouTube topics that no one in my real life cared about, and that's why I loved SITC.
Can I talk about one of the points that I wrote down? Interesting. So basically, one of my really good interactions at SITC was that I met these girls who were like, "Oh, I really like your videos," and I was like, "Cool, tell me about you." And it turns out, like, you know, like they were really interesting too. And I was like, "Is this weird? But do you want to go for a beer?" And they were like, "Yeah, that'd be really cool." And I was thinking about that, and like as a woman, that's less weird for me to do. Have you guys like ever experienced that or wanted to do that and then thought, "Now that'd be weird"? Because I feel like I do hug people who come up to me and go like, "Can I have a hug?" I hug them, and I don't ask their age, or I don't ask, you know, and like if I want to go for a beer with them, I just go for a beer with them, and like, you know, but I feel like that creator divide is less because as like a woman I'm less suspicious and I'm like assumed to have a maternal role, and I don't know, it makes me, I don't know.
Che, what do you think about this?
Yeah, 100%. I think like the difference between being a guy or a woman on YouTube like that, because I would never like do that.
Yeah.
Like, even because I've met like a bunch of people as well that I'm like, "Oh, you seem fascinating, you're a super interesting person," but to like just be like, "Yeah, do you want to go chat, do you want to go get a coffee, or do you want to go get a beer?" Like, I guess because of like maybe past history on YouTube, like of male creators doing things like that and having bad relationships with fans, I'm just like, no, I'm not even going to go anywhere near that. Like, I won't even, if I realize somebody on Tinder knows who I am or even likes another YouTuber that I know, I won't even speak to them because I'm like, there's like, this is so weird. Like, I don't want to even get anywhere close to that. So yeah, that sucks because I meet loads of interesting people that I wish I could like.
Because I think for me, like, I'm hearing myself, and maybe I'm talking from a place of like not a privilege but advantage, where I'm like, why don't we all just have spaces and all make friends with people and meet up in random places? And actually, maybe does SITC provide this like audited space where people can meet, and it's, you know, and it's like appropriate, and you know.
Yes, especially as someone like when I was younger, especially with strict parents. I mean, they're not like super strict, like whatever, but like they were very concerned for like my well-being, and they're not just going to be like, "Hey, I've met some people on YouTube, I'm going to go hang out with them."
Yeah,
it's like, well, there's this YouTube event, and like it's like a known quantity.
Yeah.
There's like an age thing there as well, because like now, like I'm like, "Hey, I met some people on YouTube, I'm gonna go hang out with them." That's how like I met Che. I was just like, well, I mean, it wasn't how I met you, but it was just like, I'm at your house now. Let's chat for 5 hours.
How did we meet? I don't even know. I think I saw your tweets and thought you were funny.
Nice, it worked. But like, so like, there's like an age thing there as well, I think. Yeah. Thoughts on that? I'm gonna catch up with the chat.
What was the
question?
Like,
I agree. I think.
Sorry, go on.
Go on.
Oh yeah, I didn't throw a question out. I'm just like lobbing question grenades, and then everyone's talking.
Okay.
It's a good time.
You want me to go to another point while you read?
Yeah.
How many points do you have, Lena? This is amazing.
I have a lot of points. I've been sitting here silent. So also, like, I feel like when you're talking about who you approach, I often don't approach people that are bigger than me in a Summer in the City setting, because I feel like they think that I'm trying to network with them, or that I'm trying to like, you know, be their next like collab, and it makes me nervous to do it in that environment. I'd usually do it at a party or on Twitter. Like, do you guys have any experience of like, you know, like Summer in the City providing this like kind of professional lens on something and making that, I don't know.
I have a thought on that a little bit. So after, when we did our like 5-hour chat, Shay,
yeah,
we talked a lot about like the relationship. We talked a lot about like what it means to be a genuine YouTuber and like being genuine online. And there was a thought in my mind that was like, we should make a video about this. But then I realized I've met you once and you're a bigger creator. And so that would feel weird, because it's like, oh, I've just met you and now I'm like, give me your subs.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll just make a video on my own. And so like that's like an element where I guess it's flipped, where I'm like, I'm the smaller creator, and I like relative to you, it's like what, a factor of 10 probably. And so like, even though like we're friends, but like I still feel like there's the element of like a creator. It's not creator viewer, but it's like creator divide.
Yeah, what was the question you asked earlier? Because it comes back to this of like, you said, do you ever get nervous talking to somebody who has more subscribers, or a bigger YouTuber, I think you said. Yeah. And it's funny that you're saying that, because like, and you said I'm a bigger YouTuber, but like I'll still meet people that I'm like so nervous to talk to. Like I won't go talk to this person. And for the majority of the time, I'd say they probably have more subscribers. And I think it comes from this weird thing of not wanting to be seen as somebody who is speaking to somebody because you're trying to network, or get a good screenshot there.
No, I'll send it to you. It's me.
Okay.
Anyway.
Like you're not trying to, you don't want to come across as somebody that's networking, or somebody, I don't know what it is. Like being kind of like fake and like just trying to speak to people to get something out of them. And there's loads of people that I meet that I'm like, I love that person's content. And I'm like, especially like you said, Lena, in a sense of like SITC, you don't want to go over to those people, because you know there's a bunch of people that will be there just to do that and just to network. Like I met people there that I then later saw just going over to bigger YouTubers, and like they're like super brave about it. They don't care at all. They're just like, oh, I'm just gonna go over to this person. Like some of the American YouTubers they'd go over to and just be like, yeah, how are you doing? Like, this is who I am and stuff. Be in my vlog and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's not, first of all, like I'd never be able to do that. Second of all, I don't think like that's a good thing for anyone to do. I think you're right in like, if you meet somebody at a party, or like I love just being on Twitter. So like if I find someone I enjoy their content, I'll tweet them and literally say like, I love your video, or I love this video, or it's a super interesting video, or anything like that. I think it completely depends on the person though, because I think there's a lot of people, for example, on Twitter, who will still have that kind of notion that somebody with less followers or less subscribers tweeting them is like, I don't know, it's this weird preconceived notion of like lesser than, even though that shouldn't exist like at all. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, also, well, coming from a perspective as someone who like doesn't have that many subscribers, if I tweet someone and I'm like, I really like your videos, they're just like, oh look, there's a viewer that likes my videos. People don't see me as a YouTuber straight away. So like I feel weird doing that, because I don't want to be like, oh yeah, here I am, viewer. I'm not a creator. I'm not like in this community. Like I don't know.
Emma, do you feel that with smaller YouTubers as well? Because I do specifically. So I don't know if you know, but I love Chloe's videos, Chloe on YouTube, and like I've watched the videos for quite a while, but I never followed her on Twitter because I didn't want to be like, I love your videos, which is weird. But then now we follow each other, and now like randomly tweet after watching one of hers, being like, I love Chloe's videos in a way that I feel like if we didn't follow each other, she would be like, oh, this guy is like massive fangirl of me or whatever. And so I feel that with smaller YouTubers as well. I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, with what I tend to do is like I'll share a video that someone's made. I'll be like, this video is good. So it's more like I'm not talking to the person. I'm talking to like the people who follow me, saying like, here, this is good. And then they'll probably see that too if I quote their tweet and I'm like, watch this. Rather than being like reaching out to them specifically and being like, hey, you specific person, you're great, because that kind of puts them on the spot more. So that's how I tend to kind of approach that situation. But it is weird. I find it hard talking to like other YouTubers on Twitter and like trying to, I guess it comes back to the kind of trying to prove yourself as like someone we're talking to that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like online, do you feel like numbers play a part in that?
Yeah. Also just like how many people know you. It's not necessarily like the amount of subscribers you have, but also like what like engagement you have in the community. Because like if people see like, oh yeah, my friend follows this person, then they're like, oh yeah, they're someone that like we have mutual friends. So like, I don't know, it kind of brings you in more. It doesn't necessarily matter how many subscribers you have, but more how many connections you have.
Okay, so links to that specifically. So I've seen a lot of hashtag discourse in the chat about YouTube cliques, and someone that I've met, I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry, but I'm going to try. I'm going to say Shabazz. It's a brown name, so I should know, but I'm not an expert on brown names. So he was saying like, I've never experienced the small YouTube community or the YouTube community that everyone's talking about. Like, what are you talking about? And I feel that because I for like the first few years I was like, what is this community? Like, I don't know anyone. Like, what? And like people in the comments are saying like, I have to disagree with you there. Like, there is a YouTube community. And then the conversation's gone on to talk about like, well, is there a community, or are there just like friendship groups and cliques that like call themselves the community? Thoughts?
I think that there isn't one YouTube community, and like, no offense, if there was, I wouldn't want to be part of it. Like that, I think the bigger a community becomes, the less of a community it is. And like, I'm interested in making friends and like being with people who have similar ideas and thoughts and like make similar kinds of content to me, or like, you know, like artistically like link up with me. And like, do you know what I mean? The same way that when I go to the green room and somebody is like, oh, I make videos about football, I'm like, okay. You know, it's like meeting, you know, there might not be anything for us to initially talk about. So like the reason people probably don't feel like there's a community is because there's like several communities, and just because you feel excluded from one doesn't mean that there aren't any. Like, does that make sense?
I mean, if you're defining like that as a community, like friendship groups, then I'm not in the community, because I feel like I'm not in like a specific friendship group. I have like individual friends like that are creators, but I don't think I'm in like a group. Like I don't have a group where everyone knows each other and everyone kind of like hangs out and just like has a fun time. I know those do exist, but I'm not.
Like, that's perpetuating like the Friends is in the Friends TV channel, like TV show kind of myth of like, everybody's got like 5 other friends and they all fulfilled like different roles and you all like hang out together in coffee shop, you know. Like, I don't know if I've ever had that.
I don't think most YouTubers have.
I think
either.
Lena and Che, I'm just gonna throw out there that I feel like you both are perceived to be in those type of squads.
Really?
Like, I would say, okay, I'm just gonna
go on then.
Super frank with you. Like, Lena, like Banging Book Club, like you three are like perceived to be as like this like thing, you know, like it's like a quantity, like it's like one thing, the same way you've got like Grace Helbig and Hannah Hart and like Memory Hart, like they're seen as like this trio. And like, I feel like there is a perception of that with like you, Hannah, and Lucy. And it's like interesting because I know you, Hannah, and Lucy, like I would consider all 3 of you friends, but I don't know you 3. Like I've never met all 3 of you together. So like you guys know that everyone knows me and I know you 3, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not. I don't become part of that squad just because I know this
group dynamic.
Yeah. And so I would say like definitely for you, like I definitely think like people do see you as like a thing.
But like that's such a small friendship group. Like people wouldn't be able to infiltrate that anyway because it's just like there's only like 3 people, you know. Like whereas like if there was like 6, then you could. I don't know. But it's not infiltrate. Like it's so weird. I don't know. You make a good point.
And Che, like same thing with you. Like I definitely think there are. Like I don't actually like know enough about who you're friends with.
Who would you, just off the top of your head, any of you?
Off the top, like I would say like
my group is my squad.
Like I would say that your friends are like, you know, you're friends with like, you've got like Calix and then like his friends and that squad, but then you also have like Alfie and like his friends and like I feel like you're like, but I would associate you with both of those groups.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, well, this goes back to the conversation of like being friends with lots of different people, kind of like as Emma was saying, like obviously like, yeah, Callum, Sarah, but live with Sarah and Callum is her boyfriend, so obviously I'm friends with those guys. Then Alfie, but that's from back home, went to school with them. Then,
no, but like more than that, like I think not me, because like I see you as like a person and like
appreciate that.
That's not that, I mean, like as like that's just Che to me now. But like I'm still like in tune with the fact that you as a person are perceived to be like part of the whole like you're like part of this bigger group.
Yeah, for sure. Which is weird to me because I never have been. So like, you guys know the YouTuber crew, as it used to be called, like the original, like the Gleam team, basically.
Yes.
And a lot of viewers used to, well, they still do. They assume that I'm friends with like all the people in that group, when in reality, I don't hang out with anyone in that group other than Alfie and obviously like Zoe as well, just because like through proxy. So like it's super weird to me how like those associations come about. Where obviously like Lena, Hannah, and Lucy is like a very natural thing because you do a podcast together, and it's me is just because it's like association through friends. Yeah, I don't know, it's very odd, especially when the reality of it is I'm friends with like lots of different creators who do like lots of different things.
Okay, so
like,
question for Emma.
Okay.
Do you think that I'm actually, question for all 3 of you, but I just don't know how much you guys know about the small YouTuber communities. But like, do you think that I'm part of one of those squads?
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like you were like, oh yeah, you two, and I was like, but I always thought that you were part of like a certain group of like YouTuber friends. But maybe it's just that like you see people interacting on social media and you're just like, oh yeah, they're best friends, like that they're a group, like they're always together, when actually like
so who would you say like that for me?
You and Sam, like
yeah, definitely Sam.
Romance. It's just like, that's all I picture. It's just like
so like but do you, okay, so this is gonna be a weird, I'm gonna be very, very like, frank with you right now. Like me and Sam are friends, like for sure. Like we've known each other since we both had like 500 subscribers, like since ages. But like, do you feel like, no, I'm not gonna ask you this question, I'm just gonna say it. I feel like people associate us two together because we're the only 2 brown teenagers doing vlogging, and they're just like, "Oh, brown people, you too."
But like, Sam, the only person that's appeared in any of your videos.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But you would
also. Well, yeah, I think also like it might be to do with the fact that you are male and you're the age that you are. Like, how many males are there in small YouTube who are your age?
Okay.
But you're right. It might also be brown.
Okay, but okay. Here's another thing. But so Emma, do you think that the squad that I'm part of, you can say their names if you feel comfortable, but like I don't know.
I wouldn't know. Like I couldn't think of like names off the top of my head. I just know that I've seen it. Like I don't know. It's weird. Okay, carry on.
Like, do you think? Like, because the only person who's ever been in my videos is Sam, but clearly you associate me with more than just Sam.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know why. I guess there are other like there's Twitter as well. and like other platforms.
I'm gonna see what people are saying about this, because I feel like this is there are going to be people who want to chip in.
I feel like the fact that you make, or from what I've seen anyway, like you make similar content as well. Like maybe not exactly the same type of content, but like your sense of humor felt pretty similar. I mean, I'll be honest, I've watched like a couple of Sam's videos and more of yours, but from what I saw, it felt quite similar.
Yeah.
And obviously there's the relation of like you do tweet each other, and like he has been in your videos or you've been in his videos. So I think that's just the way it comes across. Okay,
so a lot of people in the chat are also saying like it's kind of like more of a Twitter thing, like who are you interacting with on Twitter. Someone said, oh well, I met both of you together, so that's why I consider you to like know each other. So here's an interesting thing. Do any of you know who Cave Town is?
Yeah.
So like this is a guy who like I'm friends with, like I would say he's like one of my closest friends who does YouTube. But like most people don't associate me with him. I have now just seen a comment that said also Cave Town. So you just defeated my point there, but I'm gonna roll with it.
I found Cave Town through you, so I associate you two together in that way, but also I don't know, is the content you two create that similar? I think that might be something to do with it. I don't know.
Because like I've been in his videos, like I've made a video for him, I've collabed with him twice, but like people still don't associate me with him, which I find interesting, because it's like people are like, oh, you're part of this squad, and Cave Town is definitely not in it because two of you don't know who he is. Is Lena muted? Lena, have you muted yourself?
No, I'm just whispering to myself like a creepy old woman. I'm trying to find Cave. Oh, yeah, I've watched. Okay, I do know who you're talking about.
Okay.
I was just googling
it. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna keep catching up on the chat. So
I think sorry, you go.
No, you go. It's fine.
That's the thing of like association of like maybe the past though, because like I've never seen you tweet out a Cave Town video, whereas I've seen you tweet out a Super Slam Stuff video, and I've followed you for maybe like I don't know, like half a year now or so.
1080s in the chat.
Oh.
Carry on, sorry.
So like I think those have arrived. The journo. What a press conference.
Everyone PR mode on, don't say anything bad. Yeah, I think it's that thing of like it just some people being around longer than others, and then like if some people weren't around maybe when you were tweeting Cave Town or doing any stuff with him, they just wouldn't know. There's just no way of them really knowing unless they went back and looked through your old like tweets or old videos.
I think it maybe also comes back to like what I was saying earlier about like knowing everyone in a group kind of situation. Like I maybe consider people a group if like I see kind of the mutual friendships within it, and maybe if like I don't know if a lot of your friends know Cave Town, but if they don't, then maybe that web isn't like solidified in people's minds. So like people might associate I don't know, two people because they're both friends with the same person and like that kind of thing. I don't know.
So people are saying like, I feel so uncomfortable floating into groups. That was Greg, who I met at SITC. And like, what do you, Emma, I'm gonna pick on you, think about that? Because like, you identify as not part of a group. I also identify as not part of a group for the record, but like no one agrees. So I guess I am.
I also feel like you're kind of a Gertrude Stein type though, who like knows everybody.
I can see that. Like at school, that was definitely.
Look at this.
Yeah, like I feel like all three of you wouldn't socialize. Like
what,
I don't know.
Of this?
Yeah.
No way. I totally would. No,
I think you wouldn't. You would now.
Well, let's go.
No.
This.
Like, Che, like before this, there would be no situation where I feel like you guys would.
Like, yeah, because we have different circles. It's just.
Well, yeah and no, but we are and we aren't. Like, so it's the weird thing of people being connected through friends. Like, so it even goes back to the conversation we were just having about groups of like, who people think you're friends with. So and this might be completely wrong, and tell me if it is, but like Lena, you don't hang out with Dodie on like a regular basis, right?
Not
Exactly,
really.
exactly. But I'm assuming there's going to be, well, I might be wrong on this, but like there's probably quite a few people that's just through association of like you and then Hannah and Lucy and then them guys like being friends with Dodie, like probably associate you together.
A little bit, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So like, and then I think this is like a thing of like, so I've seen your videos before, Lena, obviously, and like if you were at an event, they're awful. I didn't say they were good. No, I'm kidding. They're really good. Like if you were at an event like SITC, or like if we were at a party together or something like that, I'd totally go over and have a conversation with you.
Yeah, and I think we've talked on Twitter before, and we have so many mutual friends.
Exactly.
That like it's only a matter of time, Jay.
I'm just gonna give you a heads up that my internet has died on my phone, so if I die from here, then that's what happened.
Okay. I think there's a power in knowing who people are. So if people know who you are, that makes it so much easier to like talk to people and make friends and like be a part of the community. Because if you're completely unknown, people just like don't care about you.
But then don't you think that YouTube's this cool place where you can immediately find out who people are by looking at their channel, or like something, a ghost of who they are? No, I know there's
definitely not.
But like you can do it more. And I always like, I follow so many random people on Instagram because they like my pictures, and then I just follow them because I'm creepy. And I do, that's how I'm now dating a guy because he commented on my video and said, I like your video, and then I realized that he had a channel, and then now we're in love. And like but that's more up to people who are like YouTubers, like looking for that. You know what I mean? Like it's
but like Lena, like how can you like Chase said, like how can you navigate that? Perhaps it's a guy thing, but like how do you navigate that with everything with a pretext?
Like as in like there's always going to be a power dynamic.
Yeah. And then more than that, just the history of YouTube. Like there has been like sexual abuse on YouTube. And it's still going on. Like at VidCon, like me and Rowan like saw like these like, well, I don't know why I'm remembering it wrong, but Rowan told me that like 2 minutes ago she was like there and she saw American YouTubers trying to pressure people to be like, oh, come and make this video with us, and like Rowan was like, what are you doing? Like
yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that like I used to be a youth worker, and I just think that it needs to be handled. It's just different. I don't know. It's different if you're under 18. Like I just think that needs to be handled.
So do you feel like when it's over 18, it's like there's a different thing because everyone's an adult?
Yeah. And I think there might be like an emotional power play, and like definitely obviously like abuse is there and it's possible and it happens, but like the things that we can prevent are under 18 stuff. Like the things that we can't prevent is just like life. Like if you're a scout, or if you're like, if you attend like a radio making society, like that's still a risk. That's like a risk of being in society. You know? Like whereas the under 18 thing is like a thing that we can monitor. Like that's the thing that we can.
There's like a line there. You can just
there's like laws and rules in place.
There's a concrete thing.
The rest of it is like lots of humans. Like I used to be in the Christian community really heavily, and like abuse happened in the Christian community. Like it happens. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that's something specifically centric.
No, I agree with you, and I'm gonna like switch it a little bit to a less heavy topic.
Can I disagree with Emma real quickly? Is that okay? Just because. Okay, cool. I'll go. I know. Just the thing you said. The thing Emma said about what did you say? You said not being able to approach people. You just said it. God, I completely forgot the exact thing you said. You basically said about
being known, like with people who know of each other.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like perfect example at SITC a couple of weeks ago. I met someone through mutual friends that I'd never met or heard of before, and as far as I can tell, she'd never heard of me.
But through mutual friends, like through mutual friends, and you were already in the green room.
But they're the mutual. I say mutual friends. They're people I only ever see like once or like twice a year. Really nice people, but like I don't see them a lot. So it was kind of like a thing of like us just all hanging out, and then they had to leave. And I'd never met this girl before, and we just had like a really great conversation about it, just about life. It wasn't even about YouTube. So I think like that you can, the thing I think like you're saying, you can't just go over to random people and speak to them. It completely depends on the person, because you are right. There are some people that just don't want anyone that they don't know to speak to them.
So I have an example. I have an example from like this morning. So I'm moving continent in like 2 weeks, and I was like, "Oh, I'm moving continent. I'm gonna be in Canada." And then someone was like, "Oh, we met at VidCon, and if you're moving to Canada, we should hang out." And then they were like, Rowan can attest to the fact that I'm nice. And they were clearly being like, hey, I have a friend, so I'm not just like a person. And they clearly were doing that because they're like, and I probably will hang out with them. But like before, like if they didn't say like, hey, I know someone, like I'm not just whatever, perhaps I would have less of an aversion to hang out with them. And so like, I feel like there is value in like being introduced by someone. And if you never know someone, then like, what do you do? Because like the way that I like got introduced to the community was my best friend from primary school. His friend at sixth form introduced me to someone from the small YouTuber community who that doesn't make videos anymore. But he was like, introduced me to everyone. And then like they kind of knew of me. So then the next SITC when I came, they were like, oh, we kind of know who you are. And like, if I didn't have that, like I would still be like, what is this community everyone's talking about?
But I think that everyone has like a weird way in. No one was like, I don't know, like it's like I think that there has totally been, I don't know, I can't name anyone specifically, but like I'm sure there are people that didn't know anyone. None of their friends did YouTube. They weren't part of a community at all. And then like, yeah, actually I was like saying, but like and then like you just meet people. You just meet people that do the same thing. And then it's kind of this thing that we've been saying throughout the live stream of like over time. So you go to one event, you meet some people. Okay, cool. Maybe you don't even speak to them for the rest of the year. You go to the same event next year, meet the same people, and maybe you meet somebody else, and it just kind of grows. That's what I think people are talking about when they say the community. Like everybody that knows everybody didn't meet them at one event and just become friends with them. It's like a thing of like, this has been going on for 10 years now. So people know each other through various different things. And somebody might know somebody else for like 10 years. Like I have YouTube friends that have been on this they've been in it for 10 years and they've known each other for 10 years. And I've only like met them both within like the last couple of years kind of thing. So it's like, there's a huge, I don't know, it's just like meeting people in real life, but it's like obviously a weird thing.
I also think a little bit, like I don't know how to say this without me sounding like I think I'm the greatest person ever, which I do think I am, but I just don't want everyone to think I am. No, but so it's like the point that I'm trying to say is like there's like an element of like people thinking you make good stuff, because I feel like there are I made a bunch of friends because someone was like, this guy, I like his things, and then brought me in. Because I felt like there are a lot of people who discovered, like a lot of YouTubers that discovered me and like that I'm friends with now. But the reason that they know who I am and then were willing to be friends with me or like willing to make those interactions to begin with was because Tessa discovered who I was and was like shouting me out at the end of a video. And then people were like, oh, Tessa likes who this is. And then they went and they enjoyed what I made and were like, okay, well, because I enjoy what they make, I'll probably like them more. And so like perhaps there is an element of kind of, you make things that other YouTubers like, then you can get introduced to the community. But even then, like, if no one discovers you.
I mean, I've had like 2 different ways of making friends on YouTube, and one of them was just people finding my videos and being like, I like these, so I'm gonna like, now I feel like I can try and be friends with you. And then there's also like meeting people at events who I just have no idea who they are, like such as gatherings, for example, and we just talk and then we become friends. Like sometimes it's not necessarily like a content thing, sometimes it is.
I have the perfect example. So Helena, like with red hair, I don't know if you guys know.
I love Helena.
I don't know if she uses her real name, her second name, so I won't say it. But so Helena, like on one of these live streams, like 6 months ago, said like, "Lol, I know no one coming to SITC this year," and like as a joke, I was like, "Well, you know me now because we're doing this live stream." and then someone was like, "Lol, you'll never remember this." So I like made like jokingly, I made like a "Let's Hang Out" voucher and like held it up to the screen and was like, "Helena, screenshot this, and then we can just like hang out." And then like since that moment and before SITC, I discovered Helena's channel, thought they were great, became friends with her. So that when it came to SITC, she was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I was that person." And so it is this weird thing where it's like she literally said, "I don't know anyone to go." I literally don't know anyone at SITC. But then by the time SITC rolled around, she like almost knew everyone. I don't know how to.
The thing is, this whole thing, like it makes quite a bit of pressure to like make good videos so people will like you. I don't know if anyone else feels this, but like I know a year ago I made a video just being like, I'm not like in a friendship group on YouTube. Is this because my videos aren't good enough? Like obviously like I didn't really think that, but like it's kind of like a worry that like you have to just like prove yourself as a creator in order for people to want to be friends with you, which doesn't really work because like your value as a human isn't the same as your value as a creator.
Especially because like some of the people that I get along with the most, I maybe watch like 1 out of every 10 of their videos. And then there are other creators that like love their content, but like we've talked a couple times, but turns out we don't really actually have much to talk about in real life. So it's just like, I'll carry on watching your content, but like don't really know what to say here. For example, like I guess this was me with you, Che. So like when we met, I'd watched like a couple of your videos. Now I actually watch them, like I'm subscribed and like I watch them. But like before, like I hadn't really watched any of your stuff, and I was like, "Are we gonna get along?" Like, but then we did get along, and so there was a weird thing of like, it was especially because you've like changed the way, changed the content that you make. I don't know if you feel that, but I feel like you have.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I mean, what Emma was just saying there about people liking you. I think like, I mean, this is the most standard YouTube advice anyone ever gives. It's like, just I'm gonna have to because it makes my point. Is like just make what you want to make and like believe in what you want to make, right? But like, and I'm like this. I'm not saying that as advice. I'm saying that as like that's what I've been doing recently. And like, first of all, I've been enjoying that way more. Like right now, I'm loving the stuff I'm making. Before, like obviously, I still think I can make it better. I think everyone always does. But like, I'm enjoying it way more than before. Because before I was like, is this really what I want to be doing? I've kind of been doing this for like a couple of years now. I kind of just rolled into this, and I don't know if this is how I want to go about it. But I think like even the stuff I'm making now, I think other YouTubers that I've been friends with in the past could watch that and it could alienate them, and they could be like, what the hell is Che doing? Like he's like, I'm talking about like very maybe like introspective stuff towards like being a YouTuber, like what we're doing now. And a lot of people don't want to hear that stuff. A lot of people like they don't like it. They want the facade to just be there. They want a YouTuber to just be a YouTuber, and like the YouTubers themselves just want to be like that character of being a YouTuber, if that makes sense. Whereas I'm like, no, this is fascinating. Let's have a conversation about it. And I think that can be off-putting. And I'm like aware of that. I'm aware that there will be people that I maybe hung out with in the past who don't enjoy the stuff I'm making now, and they genuinely think it's like not good that I'm making that stuff. That's fine, because like I'm enjoying it, and like if that's the way they feel, that's the way they feel. But like,
yeah, but you're not a piece of content. Do you know what I mean? As well, it's like,
yeah, I'm more than my content.
I'm only my content. I definitely think, yeah, there's people who are my friends because I met them in real life, maybe because of YouTube, but I met them in real life and we had chemistry. And like, I just like, you know, I was just like, oh, you're really cool.
Physics.
And there's some people that I like compare notes with in videos, and they're people that I'd send scripts to and be like, what do you think about this? Or like, you know, like artistically, like they're like a, you know, they're like a team, like they're in my like creative team in my head. You know, but then I have friends that make YouTube videos that I'd never send a script to because I'm like, I don't really think you get what I do, so I don't want to, you know. Does that make sense?
I'm just gonna. Sorry, I agree with you, but also I've just seen this comment which I thought would be interesting. I mentioned before I was talking about Rooster Teeth and how I love Rooster Teeth. And Sally LePage has just put in the comments that, Taha, you literally just came up to me at VidCon and just said, I love Rooster Teeth and science, and now we're friends. So like, maybe it works, but like even then it was in a context where I had the like pass, like the yellow pass, so like she knew I was a...
Yeah. I met Sam because he came up to me last SITC and was like, will you talk to my girlfriend on Facebook chat? And I never met him before and I didn't know who he was. And I was like, sure.
I mean, I do these web series reviews on my channel, and through them, I've like made friends with like the creators of the web series that I love, which is very strange looking back. But like, I think you can approach it from like I love the things you do, and then now we're friends. Like that can actually happen. It's just you can't expect it to happen.
It's like love. Addicted.
But I feel like that's also because we have smaller channels. Like I'd be interested to see what Chase says about that.
Wait, what was the question? I was going to say something else, but what was the?
Like, you know, we're saying like, oh, you can walk up to someone and be like, oh, I love your channel, and then there's a potentially, like potentially you'll become friends. Like,
oh no, that was, why did I even act like that wasn't what I was going to talk about? That was what I was going to say. Yeah, no, well, I don't know. I always get that worry that I'm going to meet somebody that's videos I really enjoy, and I'm either not going to get along with them, or like I'm just not going to be able to talk to them. So I love David Dobrik's videos. I don't know if you guys watch David Dobrik, but like I think he's like super funny, like genuinely like comedically funny. And I met him at Playlist Live because I was with a friend, and I kind of just stood there for about 3 minutes as they spoke, and I didn't say anything. And I was like, oh shit, I've lost my ability to talk, because like I've watched so many of these guys' videos. I don't know how to have like a conversation. It's such a weird thing. Yeah, I don't even know what my point was there. That's just a...
Well, it's this like delayed intimacy, isn't it? Where it's like, you know loads about them, they know nothing about you. Like that never used to happen. That's like a new phenomenon.
And as well, like I think like the majority of people that I'm friends with, really good friends with, like you were saying, Lena, about chemistry, is like the people that I'm really good friends with that I met through YouTube. I rarely, and I just saw a comment from 1080 asking this actually.
Yeah, I was
about to. I rarely watch their videos. Like some of my best friends, like this is the funny thing as well, like talking about who you guys associate me with, none of you said any of like I don't know if you know them, like LD Shadow Lady or Smallish Beans, or like these Minecraft and gaming YouTubers that all live up north, and like they have big channels, but like most people in the community don't know them.
I know them because I love Minecraft.
Nice. But like I don't know, like I'm not sitting there every day because they all upload like daily. I'm not sitting there watching like 5 of like their videos a day kind of thing, and being like, oh, that was a really cool like video, 20-minute video today. Like partly because I don't have time, but also like it's not always the content for me. But those guys are like some of the best friends I've met through YouTube. Like I just get on with them. So
in fact, I've actually never seen anything Sam's ever done. I don't know what he does.
No.
I think he does unboxings.
Unboxing.
I'm not sure, yeah.
Nice.
But can that be about the type of content people make though? Because sometimes some YouTubers, their content is like their personality and who they are. And some YouTubers, it's more like, I don't know, a separate thing. So like, I feel like if you don't want to see your friend's personality, is it just, if it's just because you don't have time, that's okay. But like, why?
I have an interesting perspective on this. So there are many people in the small YouTube community who I don't know, like not really like assume deliberately, but just like kind of think, oh well, you obviously like are aware of my channel, and like there are a lot of people where I follow them on Twitter, but I don't watch their YouTube videos, or I watch their YouTube videos and I don't follow them on Twitter. Like when I don't follow them on Twitter and I watch their YouTube videos and like we interact at SITC or something, they're like surprised that I watch their videos, which is like kind of understandable because I don't. Yeah, I guess that happened.
I was like, I didn't know you watch my videos.
Yeah, but then like on the flip side of that, like there are people whose content is personality based, and I follow them on Twitter, but I literally have no idea what they do, and that got me into some trouble at SITC this year because I was like ironically shading a type of YouTuber, not knowing that they made that type of content, and I was like, oops. But like, what can you do? So like, and the reason for me, the reason like I don't follow certain people on Twitter and I follow their YouTube, or like follow their YouTube and not their Twitter, is like purely a thing where I go to certain platforms for certain things. And so like, if you don't fit that criteria, I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I won't follow you on this platform. So like on Instagram, I just like to see pretty landscapes. And if you aren't making pretty landscapes, like then like you're probably not gonna get a follow from me. That's just like how it is. And like if you don't want to follow me back, like follow me on Instagram, I couldn't care less. Like do what you like. But then or like on Twitter, it's like more about I want to see like funny tweets or really political tweets or like quite insightful tweets, or like there's like these 3 categories that I go to Twitter for. And then on YouTube, like I want entertainment rather than personality based. So that's what I watch rather than personality based. And like because I have this like division in my head, I'm like, right, I want like entertainment content, go to YouTube. I want to know about politics, go to Twitter. Like I want to look at pretty landscapes, go to Instagram. Like that's where I make the division. I don't know like how you guys navigate that space. I have just given away a video script, but
like your like personality is like you're like sorting Simon. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I'm like messy Mavis, and I'm just like everybody can have follows. I don't know, but then that makes it really messy. Yeah, I don't know. I think with Twitter, I'm like, if I follow you on Twitter, it's because I want to talk to you, and I want it to be two-way thing. And then if I like just watch your videos, then I just want to like watch your videos. I know, you know, I don't know.
So do you comment on people that you don't follow on Twitter, but you watch their videos? Yeah,
but usually just to be like, I really liked it. I'm really bad at like contributing anything that like, if I had something big to say of what they said, because I also am a creator, I'd make a video response. Oh, RIP video responses. But yeah.
Apparently I'm not meant to cough in my hands. Apparently you're meant to cough into your elbow. Yeah, so just gonna throw that out there, that you can stop tweeting me that, because I understand now.
That's funny.
You just said something interesting, Luna, that I thought about. Like if I watch somebody's video and I think it's really good, but like I follow them on Twitter and maybe they follow me back, I'm more inclined to, and I'm not entirely sure where this is, but like I'm more inclined to go onto Twitter and tweet them and be like, oh, I loved your new video. And you know what I think that is? I think that's from a point of like me wanting them to see it. Whereas like if I comment and maybe they get thousands of comments, they might not see that comment.
Yeah.
Whereas if I tweet them, there's a much higher chance that they're going to see that.
And also, what do you think? Because I feel like we have different perspectives, seeing as we probably get less comments.
Yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of smaller YouTubers. So if I want to like tell the person that made the video that I like the video, I just comment it. But like if I want other people to know that I like the video that aren't the creator, then that's when I like tweet it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I've commented on a video of yours, Che, but it was like a couple days after the video went up, and then like just as you said that, I was like, oh wait, you probably never saw that comment, because like
no, I did. Didn't I reply to it?
No, it was like on the most recent one, I think.
Yeah, I remember, and I did see the comment.
Okay, well, about racism.
Yeah, you commented on something I said in the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just assumed that you hadn't seen it because of like the amount of comments that you get. But
I'm different though, because I like comments are what I live for on YouTube. I know some people live for like a bunch of other things, just like making the videos and everything. I'm like, the comments are my favorite part. I would rather get.
Okay, so question.
Go on.
I'm terrible at interrupting. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry. I totally need to leave soon, by the way. I was supposed to be playing Monopoly an hour ago, and I have a flight tomorrow at 7 in the morning, and I haven't packed. So.
I probably need to get.
Yeah.
I've got to do my Creators for Change project, lol.
Oh, so do I. Yikes. Yeah. So like, how many, as a percentage of your comments, how many comments do you reply to? Like down the line, all 3 of you.
Pretty much all of them.
I don't reply to that many of them. I'm sorry. It's basically like, I don't know. It's partly like a lot of people are just being like, I really liked it. And I usually just go, thanks. And I don't really count that as a reply, I guess, or I like just like it. I just do the love thing. Yeah. But for me, like it's time-wise, I'm just like, I have to choose between making content and responding to comments. Like I can't do both. Like I can't do both all the time. So I try and respond to long comments or emails. and that's my choices. That's what I do. I don't know if it's the right choice, but I just choose to do that.
Okay.
I just get less comments, so it's easier for me to reply to them.
Che, what about you? Because you say you live for comments. So,
Yeah,
but do you reply?
Definitely there's been times when I've like, the thing you're saying about like making content, I used to have a gaming channel which would literally be like 5 to 7 videos a week, and so it's like the likelihood of me replying to every comment on every video there is like it's just impossible. Like I'm not going to be able to, because as soon as I finish one video I have to go do the next one. But now that I'm doing maybe like 2 videos a week just on my main channel, I like to think I reply to the majority of them, but there are those comments where it's just like, I love you, or I love this video, and I'm like, there's not really anything I can add to this that would help anyone, so I'm not going to. But the majority of my comments are pretty good, like especially on the recent videos, especially whenever you have a discussion in your video, comments are just so much better. So like I've had longer comments recently, and I love jumping in them, and like they'll write like a paragraph, and I'll be like, right, I'm writing you 3 paragraphs back. Let's go. Like, let's have a good conversation here.
The battle of the paragraphs.
Yeah, I'll sit in my conversation, like I'll do it at breakfast sometimes, just sit there for like 2 hours in the morning and just reply. I try to do it, go down to the bottom if I can.
So a friend of mine, Jake, has just asked, do you prefer giving genuine feedback on a video or just saying you really enjoyed it?
Obviously genuine feedback.
Yeah.
But like what about criticism? Like if you're like,
yeah,
I love criticism as long as it's constructive. Like, okay. Yeah. Like I recently did a discussion video which a lot of people disagreed with, and it was like I loved all the responses, even though like so many of them I was like, no, I disagree with everything you're saying, but like I got so much more out of that than someone
was
just
it
saying
why Team 10 are the greatest. Sorry.
1 second, Sarah. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, if any of you have to go, just like feel free to leave. No,
I do have to actually go. What was the point? Feedback. Yeah, for sure. Feedback. That was my point. Is like 100%.
So
I think if you just wanted the comments that said I love the video, I think you'd be crazy. I think you're a crazy person. No, well, maybe I shouldn't say crazy, but like I think it's an unhealthy thing to have, basically.
Oh, so someone said that like constructive feedback gets meaningless if enough people say the same thing.
Mm.
But then you can like pin a comment and reply to that, you know.
Okay.
It's and also the amount, the quantity of feedback. If you're getting that many people saying one thing, it's obviously like there's a lot more weight to that than just like one person says it and somebody else says something else, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, but it can just get annoying after a while.
Yeah, that's true. Sure. So I have this weird like philosophy on comments where like I want to reply to everything, like literally everything. Like someone could, I was going to say something and then I realized that people are going to do it, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you like just typed a full stop and left it in the comments, I would find a way to reply to it.
Challenge accepted. Let's all do it.
Now I know everyone's going to do it. And I'm going to have to figure out like creative way. And like, it's like a thing where like, if someone leaves a good comment where you can clearly just have a conversation with it, I can like engage with it. But if it's like, hey, this was good, then I'm like, then I like think of it as a kind of more of like a creative task where it's like, I want to make this funny somehow. The stream is now just filled with full stops. I'm not going to reply to your stream comments. Who do you think I am? But like, that's like kind of how I see the comments that are kind of like, I can't really add anything to this. I like take it as like a challenge, but that's because I like comedy and like exercising that part of.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel bad. Maybe I should reply more. I just don't. And I don't really know why, to be honest.
I mean, I don't think there's any point in replying if you don't have anything to say. Like,
No.
I try and reply to like questions, but if it's a question you can Google, I don't reply on purpose because I'm like,
you should Google it.
You're already on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and find an example of where like I feel like, in fact, like I just like being dumb, like on the internet generally. Like so, like if
it comes across for sure.
Thanks.
I really actually need to go, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I wish I could stay longer. Making this a weekly thing, right? Yeah, cool.
Sure, yeah, I will definitely do that.
All right, I'll catch you guys in a bit.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I love how everyone's voice gets higher when people are saying bye.
Oh, I might have to go too, or should I stay a bit longer, or do you want me to get? I'll go now.
I mean, I don't mind. Like, actually going. Like, what's going on? What is happening on Lena's screen right now? Oh, that's the pot noodle that I got you. Nice.
Oh, she's gone.
Oh, R.I.P. Bye. Nice. Okay.
That was one way to go.
That was what a way to go. Right. Let's see what people are saying. I'm just going to catch up with the chat in a bit. Oh, that was interesting, wasn't it? That was not where I thought this conversation was going to go.
No, but it was great.
Yeah, we should talk a little bit more about what we thought we were going to talk about, which was
creative viewer.
Yeah. Oh, I guess because we have like vacancies. If you're one of my mates and you have thoughts, DM me. I guess. I don't know.
Can my mates also get in on this, or is it just your friends?
No, only my friends. No, yeah. Go ahead. Just send me their Twitters and I'll like poke them. That's a Facebook thing.
I have 66 notifications. What happened?
Wow.
Is this because we had real famous YouTubers on here? Is this what happened?
I don't know, because I don't have 66. I don't have 66 notifications. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like I said, you are the famous one bringing in all the views. So, let's try and catch up with this real fast. There's just silence as we. Oh, let me vamp while you do that. Let's have a look. Taha always responds to my comments. I make them really dumb and see if he does sometimes. Why are you doing this to me? I mean, I enjoy it. Like, I think that. Like when I kind of feel like there's like a culture. The reason I do it is like I feel like there's a culture on YouTube to not expect a reply, and so the reason I do it is like, okay, maybe you're leaving like this comment which is like, oh, I like the video, because you don't really expect a response, and like because I want to foster the culture of like wanting a response, I'm like, I'm gonna try to respond to this in like a meaningful way, so that maybe next time you're like, oh wait, Taha's that guy that actually responds to comments. This time around, I'll leave something more constructive. So it's not just a way of me just being like. I have loads of free time, which I don't, and I really want to respond to comments. It's like I want to encourage people who leave comments and like leave like comments that you can really dig your teeth into. So
yeah, I mean, I love when people respond to my comments. I comment on other people's videos. Like I get so excited when I get that little like bell thing in the corner.
It's not working for me anymore. I don't know about you.
What
Like I never know when someone's responded to my
you can change the settings in YouTube on what they send you.
Can you do a tutorial right now?
I don't really know.
I'll
but like there is a way. How do I get people on here? Can I do that, or do you have to do it?
I think you have to do it. I think I have to do it because I think I've given you permission, and then like I have to give other people permission.
So should I send you the Twitter name of the?
Yeah. Oh my god, my messages are now being like. Ooh.
I don't even know if this is working.
We have someone I met at SITC who was a viewer. Can we put them on?
Sure.
Okay, nice.
I mean, I can't. My Twitter isn't working right now, so.
Oh, is it breaking because of all of the notifications?
Probably.
Oh, they're also a creator. Oops, sorry. Let's have a look. Let me get Carrie on, and I'll get Ruby on. Ruby's the person who made that video. By the way, the one that we were talking, the oversharing one. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Charlie, I met you at VidCon and it felt less, maybe. Where is Charlie? I can't see Charlie. Charlie, why is your message retracted? What happened? Charlie, why? Yeah, I guess it's, why is, I guess she might have deleted the comment. Oh, I don't know, sorry. Oh, Greg wants to be on. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna.
I have more people. This is getting a bit much.
You can like DM me all of the people, and then we'll just like go like I'll put like a 15-minute timer, and I'll be like thumbs up, and then we'll get more people. Let's do it that way.
Sounds fun.
I see that Carrie is here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, I think Ruby is here.
Oh.
Hello. Oh,
Carrie,
hello.
Carrie, your mic is muted. Ruby, you're good.
Am I okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi.
Okay.
I don't know if you can. Okay.
Do you guys have any initial thoughts?
Hi.
Oh wait, before rules, we're doing, because there's a lot of people who want to jump on. We're doing 15-minute like sessions.
I'm getting like, I think I'm a bit out of sync.
Oh god. Well, that's going to be interesting. We're doing like 15-minute sessions of like trying to get as many people thoughts, and then we'll probably like wrap it up there. So any initial thoughts, and then we can go into discussion.
Okay, there's no, I feel like we've talked about this already, but there's no like clear line with smaller YouTube and like the creator viewer divide within that. So like I think you said before, like there are literal barriers and like meet and greets and stuff with bigger YouTube, but then with smaller YouTube it's like, and like me and Emily were talking about in the video, there can be that kind of over familiarity and people feeling like they know you when they don't, because there isn't such a clear line.
Yeah, sometimes the divide can actually be helpful because it reminds people that, like, I don't know, they don't actually know you. Like that's a fact. I can hear myself, and this is throwing me off. Yeah, I definitely think that I don't know, there's two sides to it. There's like not wanting to seem over familiar, but also like if you don't talk to people and don't like, I don't know, introduce yourself, then you're just not gonna know people. So it's kind of a balance.
Yeah, because I think there were people like at SITC that I was like, I didn't, like I might have seen a couple of their videos, but I think that, like we have mutual friends and stuff, but I think they saw me more in the like viewer category than the creator category, even though I didn't really go up to them and be like, hey, I watch your videos, but it was like, yeah, so then that was a weird, so I ended up just like not speaking to them, and that was a weird divide thing and dynamic, because I think there are a lot of people with mutual friends in the small YouTube community, so yeah, I don't know how to like navigate that in a way, because you don't want to seem over familiar.
Is it? I was catching up with the chat and I've missed what you just said.
We were talking about the over familiarity thing, like being on both sides of that situation.
I think thoughts about this. I don't know what you guys have to say about it, but let me throw out what I think is that I like. You might have seen in my not my last video, because I made 2 videos. What? The one before I was saying like, you know, like YouTube is inherently a performance. Like it's just like intrinsic within the medium itself that it is a performance because you are creating a piece of entertainment. And so when I meet, well, you're creating a video, which is like a medium, which is like, it's media. It's not like you yourself existing. And so when I meet people, I treat that as that. I'm like, if I met, it's an extreme example, but if I met Jimmy Fallon, I'm not going to be like, oh, I really like your YouTube videos. Because I don't see it as like, I might actually be like, I really like the clips that you put on YouTube, but I'm not then going to think that what he does on YouTube is what he's like in person. And I'm like, what I kind of see YouTube as is like entertainment that people are projecting their personalities onto. And it's like, because they're projecting their own personalities onto it, they've got their own perceptions of their personality. And so when I go into conversations, I'm like, okay, so this is what I know they want me to see. Let's see what they're like in real life. And I go in kind of with a semi-blank slate. And I feel like that's something that people don't do. And I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know anyone else, when I was, because it was my first SITC this year, when I was meeting content creators, I didn't want to like make them feel that I was putting them up on this like big pedestal, because otherwise I didn't want to make them feel like they were just getting an overflow of like compliments like day in, day out, because that could be like quite, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's quite like, it's quite exhausting. I don't know. So when I was meeting like Evan, because I could tell he was quite exhausted. I knew that even if I did ask, you can take a break if you want, because that is what I did legit say to him. I knew that like he kind of felt like he had to, because there were so many people that were so dependent on meeting him, which I thought was quite toxic for the YouTuber and also quite toxic for the viewers as well.
Yeah, watch your video on this. Like, you made a video about SITC, right?
Yeah, I did, and I wish I did like a mini follow-up on it, because I was only like really talking about how like younger audiences were treating really big like popular YouTubers, and I don't think I spoke enough about like how well, maybe like older audiences, or like how people may react to like smaller content creators. But whilst I was at SITC, because people were bigging up like the big content creators so much, and like there were like the massive Dodie Qs and Evans Q, there wasn't enough like experience, I guess, for me at my first SITC to know what that kind of divide was like for the smaller creators, I guess.
So so I'm gonna put a question that 1080's just thrown in. Do you think an age is a factor as a smaller YouTuber when approaching bigger creators? Because since many of the bigger vlogger audiences are smaller, for example, are younger, for example.
I mean, that was definitely something for me as well, even as a creator. Like, it felt weird for me to approach like these other creators that were like, I don't know, in their like late 20s when I'm like an 18-year-old. It felt that felt kind of strange to me, like,
because I feel like people are like, I kind of see this a little bit, because I feel like people are a little bit more receptive to me because people think I'm older. Like, I'm a teenager. Mm-hmm. I'm like a literal teenager, not like, lol, I'm still a teenager, in denial. I'm like literally still a teenager, but because like people perceive me as not, so they're like.
See, I have the opposite. People perceive me as younger.
Same.
I'm 20, so I'm not in this conversation.
But this is something I wanted to go back to. So you did say that you didn't carry. You said that you didn't experience like the smaller YouTuber creator viewer divide as much, because you didn't really experience it, or you didn't like. But like, you chatted to me. And like, yes,
I did.
What did you think?
As in like my experience with you, or like?
Did you think that there was like a creator viewer divide?
I guess like when I met you, I was like quite, I guess nervous is like too strong a word, but it was like, I know you might have like other things you might need to do. Yeah, apprehensive, I think, is a good word. Because I think I acknowledge the fact that other people like are a big fan of you and would want to talk to you. You probably did have other stuff to do. But at the same time,
I distinctly remember really needing the toilet.
Yes, you did say that. You did say that to me. I remember that. So I guess, yeah, I was apprehensive in a way, but at the same time, I felt like, because you did sell me your GoPro, which I forgot about at the time.
I did do that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, you did do that. I don't know. I felt like because I didn't view you like as big of a YouTuber as like Dodie, for example. I felt like there was more of a connection, I guess, I could make with you than other creators.
Okay. So there's like a quantifiable difference between
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Dodie wouldn't have been able to just tweet, "Hey, does anyone want to buy a GoPro?"
Oh God, no! Like, no. I think she would get like a flurry of like messages, like just trying to talk to her, let alone like buying the GoPro.
Yeah, I think like definitely smaller YouTube is more accessible. So I mean, so it's kind of
Yeah.
easier to make friends within smaller YouTube, and like I made some amazing friends at SITC, but then like I don't know, I think like age is a really interesting thing within
Yeah, I never
smaller
thought about
YouTube.
that.
Because like when I first made my YouTube friends, I think literally just turned 16 or something, and all my YouTube friends are like 2 years or like 8 years older than me. So like I didn't really realize it at the time, but that must have been a really weird dynamic for them. So
for me,
yeah.
that's definitely a consideration. Like, I'm like, well, I'm an adult, so kind of you have to kind of like think about that. And so I guess like that's the thing that me and Che were like kind of also thinking. Oh, well, I mean, Lena's already said it. Like, there's a line there already. Like, it's like, you know, you're not a child anymore. So like, there's like a bit of just kind of like, well, you don't have to like, you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
I get you, yeah.
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 Do you think that's more because you're male though? Because I feel like I have friends that are young. I mean, I know I'm only just 18, so I'm not like that much older, but like I have friends who are not adults. Like I have friends that are like 13, 14. But is that weird? Like I don't know. I think it's more about maybe like emotional maturity than
Yeah.
I think
actual age.
most of my friends are like, what, 17, 18. And then like, then there's like people who all are just like, you are a child, because they're like 27 or something. Like Jazza, who's got like a full-on beard and is like an old man and is like, you child, you. But like, that might be because just like the way the like things that I'm interested in talking about are perhaps not really, they don't, I know this, but I know that they don't really correlate with my age demographic as much. Like, it's not like everyone doesn't really want to talk about like the intricacies of like foreign policy. Like, that's not, it's like what, like there's like a subsection that do, and I talk to them, but like majority, like my interests skew older.
Yeah, but then I think also it might be, I don't know, because you don't like necessarily look your age as well. I think you look a bit older than you are, which is a compliment at this point.
Yeah.
But then like I'm 18, but I'm constantly getting thought that I'm like 13, 14. So like I think that people are more likely to take you seriously, probably because you look a bit older and also because you're male. Sorry,
Yes,
patriarchy.
I was about to say, like,
rubbishness.
don't forget that I'm a guy.
Yeah, so I think that like I don't know if Emma also has this experience, but I think I worry that although being like a fangirl isn't inherently a bad thing at all, I think that I sort of get misjudged as being that and being younger and being female, so not being taken as seriously.
I think the main
also like fangirls just don't get taken seriously at all. Like if you enjoy something and you're female and young, then you have nothing interesting to say apart from, oh, he's cute, it's an exciting YouTuber. Like people could enjoy content, be young and female, and still have something interesting to say. Sorry.
I think that was the one thing I was like afraid about, like going to my first SITC this year, was like coming across like a fangirl and not coming across as like a mature person who just like admires the videos. So I guess because I was saying in the comment section as well that when I was meeting with like Hazel Hayes and like all the bigger YouTubers, I was trying to like treat them as like acquaintances rather than like big creators, because I didn't want to come across like I put them on this big pedestal, because I think my main worry was that I wouldn't be taken seriously as a person. I would be treated like a fangirl who's just another one of the like pool of viewers, I guess.
Yeah, see, I think that's an issue though, like people treating viewers like they're less, especially like younger female viewers, just seeing them as like just someone who, I don't know. I don't really understand it, to be honest. But I know it's there. I definitely felt it when I was a fangirl, which I wouldn't necessarily. I think I maybe still have fangirly tendencies, but
Yeah, I know. I used to be a fangirl.
but yeah, I used to that used to be my whole thing. I was a fangirl, and I definitely felt like looked down upon and kind of like
Patronized.
Yeah, patronized because I was enthusiastic, and because I look like I do. So yeah.
Is that our timer to
Is that the
get the
timer?
hell out?
I mean, that was the timer.
All right.
I feel like we did wrap that up quite nicely, though.
Sad times.
But yeah. Emma, if you want to send me some more people.
I mean, I sent you like 3.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there you go.
Bye.
Okay.
This was
Thank you very
fun.
much. Wait, before you go.
Oh.
You both want to plug your channels.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Ruby Macy. Yeah.
C-E.
I'll put it in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Mine is just Carrie Morrison, but it's not like the one in the comments because like they're 2 different accounts. Just type it in and
That's not confusing at all.
sorry. I should probably make that clarification. But you'll find some videos, hopefully. I guess. Carrie Morrison. Look it up.
Hey. All right. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Well, that worked quite well.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a bit awkward to being like, get out, more people. Because last time I did a live stream, I just kept adding people, and it got to the point there was like 12 people, and no one could talk. Yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to load these comments. What's it called? What? Twitter. That's the one. We got a text from my brother saying stop sniffing. Can't do anything. Also, I'm pretty sure he has like a test in 2 days. I don't know what he's doing. Let's have a look. Yeah, my internet is dying. I'm glad it's like still working on the main machine, because that would be bad. Sally LePage says she'll be back at 10 if we're still doing it. I'm probably going to end at 10, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, we've already run over from the we aimed for 2 hours, but we're going to go.
Yeah.
Nothing is loading. Literally nothing.
Oh.
This is my worst nightmare.
Oh dear.
Oh wait, it's loading on the main machine. Let's do that. Right.
Ben wants to know what's going on because he just got here. We're having people in.
We've solved the North Korea and America crisis. We're working on climate change right now, but we've almost finished that. So if you want to work on Team 10, that'd be great. If you want to do a serious explanation while I.
We're talking about the creative viewer divide, especially within the small YouTube community, and we're adding people for like 15 minutes to talk about what they think, and we're finishing at 10. I think that's all they need to know.
Yeah, I think. Oh God, I keep joining the Hangout like a million times. Okay, hold on. Save link. Is that what I want to do? No, copy link. Got it. I'm good. Oh God, I almost tweeted it. Nice. I do that every time. That would have been terrible. Okay, so Greg. Oh, I almost tweeted it at you. This is so bad. Greg, you're going to be the death of me. Right. Greg, you got a link. Let's see what else I can do. The next person. Rebecca. I've met Rebecca. What am I doing? Message? Message. That's what I'm doing. Message, click message. Okay. I'm like double checking before I hit send or anything. I'm like, am I in the right box? Okay.
Hopefully they will be here soon.
Yes.
In the meantime.
Do you have any prelim thoughts?
I don't know. I enjoyed that conversation. It's definitely this whole fangirl thing is something I've been very passionate about for a long time.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I watched your video on it. That was really cool. I think you made some 10 out of 10 points.
Greg is here.
Hello. How are you?
I'm great, but I just want to point out that you were the person in the pub that was like, put your hands up if you have been personally victimized by Taha.
No, it wasn't.
That's my memory of it. And
Wasn't it therapy?
I was the guy who said that I've never seen Mean Girls.
Oh, okay, fine. You're on my side. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we've, you know, I've got to, you know, delete the diss track now.
No. Like, do the full thing of save the third verse, put it in the ocean, and then send it to me.
Hello, Rebecca.
Hello, Rebecca.
Hello. Do you guys want to introduce yourself? Say what you're all about, all of that.
Go for it, Rebecca, while I think.
All right. Damn it, I was going to think. But yes, hello, I'm Rebecca. I am a person on YouTube, kind of, but I like make short films instead of talking to cameras. But yeah, I make a bunch of cute, tender gay stuff. That's
cool.
what I do. But yeah.
And we've met.
Yes.
Was it at VidCon or SITC?
It was at VidCon, as you can tell by me not being British.
Okay. Everything's jumbled up in my head. Cool.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Cool. Okay. I'm Greg. Hi. How you doing? Nice to meet you. And I am a poet. I also do the YouTube thing, very infrequently, but I have been doing it for over 5 years. So, like, I think that I have some experience and knowledge of what's going on. However, I'm a weird anomaly in that I've never sort of found my footing, and so I didn't build up to anything. I just sort of got really good at Twitter, and now I know people.
Okay.
There you go. That's what I would say.
Tanya's in the comments.
Do you have any like initial thoughts on what's been discussed?
Oh, so many. The main thing is that I feel there are two divides, and I want to feel the room on how everyone feels about this. There's the creator/viewer divide, which you've talked at length about, but there's also what I call just the creator-viewer divide, where there are two people who are both creator and viewer, but there's a weird divide there that that can go across a whole load of things. So the creator/viewer divide, as you've mentioned, can have loads of very obvious power dynamics and such, whereas that's less prominent in the creator-viewer divide, and it's more of a personal high school clique friendship thing.
Yeah.
So something I mentioned in the comments a while ago that people started to ask about, because I didn't explain it at all, is there's this weird Venn diagram idea that the smaller YouTube community, who are generally comprised of creator viewers, we know of a lot of each other, even though we may not know each other personally, especially because we're so spread out. Although, as someone did mention quite accurately in the comments, it seems very, very British, with a few Americans jumping in. Hi, Rebecca, how you doing? And it's really weird at events like SITC and just talking on Twitter even, that you can know someone quite well, and perhaps they have a best friend who lives more local to them that you could never have heard of. And then there's this weird social dynamic where you don't know who someone is, but you feel you should. And then you don't quite know how to talk to them because you're on equal terms, but you don't want to come across as quote unquote just a viewer, but you also don't want to come across as someone who's networking. So it's just really weird and a lot more muddy than the creator/viewer divide. How do you feel? I realize I just talked a lot there.
Does anyone
It
have
was super
thoughts?
interesting. Yeah, I think it's partly. Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
I think one thing I've been thinking about during a lot of this is that a lot of it has to do with what kind of content you make, because I think it's very interesting, I guess, as someone who makes things that really are not about me at all. to see like how well different creator viewers know each other's, like even if you do watch each other's content, there's still a certain divide if you make very different kinds of stuff, and not even necessarily like fictional versus vlogs or whatever, but like people who make sort of more educational or activist-y videos versus people who make just like stuff that's very much about their personal life. That can create even more fun divides that are hard to figure out a way across.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much experience with that because like the stuff I make is just like me, so, but I can see how that would be like an interesting dynamic. Like, do you find it like difficult to like make friends through YouTube, because like people can't just go to your channel and see your face and like know who you are?
I think, I mean, a little bit, but I've done much more of it through like mutual friends, which is weird though, because there are all these people that like I know on YouTube, but I don't know anywhere. Like I know only on the YouTube platform, but like I don't talk to anywhere else, and just are like, this is so good. And I'm like, thanks. And that's our whole interaction. And I sort of like, I understand the appeal of like sharing more of yourself to sort of get more from other people and make more actual connections.
Okay, question. What's your, so you're saying like, you know, through mutual friends and all that, but like we said before, like where did that start?
I think probably once I got a Twitter, honestly. It makes such a big difference because that's the one place that I like actually share things that are somewhat more personal, or just like actually have more conversations with people. But I think also just commenting on other people's videos, and then that leading to talking to each other on Twitter and stuff really made a big difference. A lot of exchanging of words as opposed to videos. Yeah.
So I'm going to be honest, I got entirely distracted by the amount of bots in the comments. I'm like,
The comment
what is
section
going
is
on?
pretty wild.
I am
really?
a child of
Oh my
God.
God.
What is this?
What's happening?
It's, yeah, sorry. I was just like trying to go through and like ban them all.
We do have just a quick question from Maisie McDonald that says, are any creators not viewers?
I know some people that don't really watch much YouTube, or at least the kind of YouTube that they make.
Well, there was like a 6-month period where I wasn't a viewer, but I wasn't making videos either. So it was kind of like, I was just like, I just took a break. But when I came back, I did notice that there was a lot of references that I just didn't get. And I was like, whoa, this community moved fast.
Hashtag
Like,
Video Got Pro.
Well, I mean, that's my thing.
But how do you think that maybe I would certainly say some of the larger creators just don't have the time to also be viewers, especially to such an extent that maybe some just more dedicated viewers would. How do you feel that being a creator, not a viewer, would affect your relationship with the divide and also just the community?
I think you would, I definitely see this with, so I had a conversation with, name drop. Actually, I'm not going to name drop them. That's a bad idea because I don't want to put words in their mouth. Like a very big YouTuber. They had like, they're American. They had like 4 or 5 million subscribers. And they like, you know, they kind of just accept the divide. It's not like a point of contention for them because it's like, you know, the same way, you know, going back to, you know, the greatest YouTuber of all time, Jimmy Fallon, like he doesn't think about the divide because it's just like, well, I just put entertainment on YouTube, people watch it. That's that. Like,
yeah.
They see it as that sort of just like, it's a more of a entertainment thing. Oh God, they have 10 million subscribers. Okay.
I think it maybe depends on what you're using YouTube for, because some people use it, like me, I use it more as a tool for discussion. So if there's a divide there, that makes that more difficult. But if people are like creating, I don't know, the kind of like entertainment that isn't necessarily meant to be discussed, like, I don't know, maybe what Jimmy Fallon does, then that doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that there's a divide there because they're not trying to like talk to their audience as much.
True, it's more just like traditional media celebrity viewer divide rather than this weird modern YouTube
Um,
It's interesting.
okay, so but like, yeah, I really feel like if you're making personality-based content and you're not, the thing is, I can't fathom this experience. Like, I don't know why we're all sitting here being like, we should really think about what it's like to be not our worldview at all.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, I did used to never watch YouTube videos. Like I did do the like creator not viewer thing. Well, yeah, because I didn't even really know what YouTube was. I was just like, oh, I made a film. I want to show it to my friends. I'll just put it on YouTube.
Okay.
And then eventually, like I titled one of them like lesbian short film, and then a ton of people found it, and I was like, oh, cool, people are watching it. But I didn't like subscribe to anyone. But like now that I have been doing that, I feel like the experience of the community is so much more rich, and it's like I understand why people just want to like put a thing there and have fans, but it's also like the chance to actually get to know people through art is like pretty cool.
I really need the toilet, so I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Have fun, don't hurt yourself.
Okay.
So, cool. So something that I wanted to mention, and something that I want to talk to Ruby about at length, and she mentioned in the comments that she was very excited at the idea, is the idea of how to make friends. And then once you've done that, how to navigate the friendships. And I believe there was a high school analogy and all of that going on. And I don't know how well either of you two know Ruby, but just I would love to have a live stream like this, talking about this in particular, because it's a really interesting, weird thing of...
I mean, we can talk about it now. Let's talk about it now.
Yeah, come on. True. But like, limited. So how do you make friends? And once you've done that, because obviously like an answer would be Twitter, and that's just how I've done it. But once you've made the friends, how do you figure out who you're friends with?
Yeah, the thing is, right, I don't think I have that many friends on YouTube. I have a lot of acquaintances.
Okay.
And my problem is, like, I can make acquaintances on YouTube fairly easily, but how to turn those acquaintances into friends is like a whole nother story.
Yeah, and I think like it's interesting because a lot of our meeting of people happens in very like time and location specific things. So like I got to know people pretty well in like a day of not SITC, I didn't go there, in a day of VidCon, but then just like keep in touch with people after that. Was that just friendship of a day, or is it like you're actually going to have a connection now? Which is hard to navigate. Feels like the friendships that you have once you've left high school, and it's like we were really close friends, and if we like meet up and talk about something, we could have a really long, interesting conversation. But it's not necessarily like if something interesting happens to me, you're the first person I'm going to text. It's just like there and cool.
True.
With a lot of people.
So like I had a sort of example experience at SITC, which was the Venn diagram idea. Basically summed up is that there are, just like in high school, lots of groups of friends, and there is some crossover between them. Some of the groups are larger and more visible given the sort of platform we're all on. Some of the groups are teenier and maybe more local. But navigating those groups is weird. Here's my case study, I suppose, which is at SITC, I approached this group who I felt I knew well enough. I'd spoken to them on Twitter, there were some conversations, and certainly last year I had an extended chat with one of them. And due to circumstances of what was going on, I ended up talking more in depth to one person of this group. And this one person I'd followed on Twitter the week prior to meeting them at that occasion, and I had no idea what they did, like what they identified themselves as. I later found out artist. So I had basically nothing to go into that conversation with. And they said during our little conversation, like, so do you know any of us? And I was like, how do I... Do I know you? Do I know any of you? I was totally stumped.
Can anyone know anyone?
Exactly.
What does it mean to know?
It was all these weird social levels where I felt more comfortable with one person than another. And any relatable moments.
I mean, like when I don't know when I met you at SITC. You were
Right,
there,
okay.
and I was like, "Oh, hi," and then someone said your name, and I was like, "I guess you're Greg," and then we just
Right. So I was going to mention that as well. So it would be interesting to hear your perspective on this, because last SITC, as in 2016, was my first one, and I saw you there. I don't think I spoke to you because, again, you were in a group, and so at that point, definitely 2016, I didn't feel comfortable enough knowing like a lot of people to just go up and chat.
That happened to me too, actually.
Yeah.
I saw Taha at SITC 2016, and you were in a group, and I didn't go talk to you.
I feel like we talked last night.
No, I don't think we did.
Okay. Did we talk? So this was the first SITC I've talked to you in real life. That can't be true.
No, we talked at Dodie.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry,
okay.
Just interrupted that.
So what was why? What was that?
Because so 2016, it was definitely A, it was my first. B, I didn't feel established enough in the community to approach anyone with any kind of confidence, except for like a couple of people. And 3, or C, depending on how I've been counting, it was because I felt you had something to do. And that wasn't particularly you. It was, I felt that everyone just had somewhere better to be than talking to someone they maybe didn't know, which is mad because that's the point of SITC. But
I'm there to chat to people.
Yeah.
I mean,
whereas,
I mean, earlier, Taha, you were saying like that when you know someone from their videos and then knowing them in real life, that's a completely separate thing. So like for me, it was like going up to a random group of strangers, like that's a weird thing to do when you don't know any of them. Like even if you've seen their videos, you don't know them, so and they definitely like might not know me, so like that
like imagine walking into a Costa and just sitting with people and being like, oh, hi. I mean,
it's so weird. You feel like a weird tag along.
You would feel like just like a social, just like I just don't know. You would just the only way I could describe that is just you literally are there to be awkward. Like I know that Lydia is in the comments right now, and I know that she did something similar where she was like, she didn't go up to me. I was like, oh hey, but I watched her videos.
Right.
So it was this thing where I was like,
how do you sort of figure out when you're talking to someone? You mentioned this comment earlier on in the live stream, but how do you figure out how well you know someone? Because I mentioned just in the comments, I feel weird adding people on Facebook. That feels so intimate, and I really need to judge if I know the person well enough. Even if I've talked to them on Twitter for months, I still feel weird.
Yeah, it's
yeah. And comparing last SITC to this SITC with yourself, Taha, when I approached you this year, it was with other people, and I was just sort of walking along with them. And it wasn't like, oh, I saw you from across the room and approached. I was just hanging out with others. And then you were there, they started talking to you, and as you say, they mentioned my name, and you were like, oh, it's you. And I was like, he remembers? Yeah. I was like, how do you know me? What have I done to be noticed?
Right? Like
at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I've tweeted loads
Yeah,
of
it's interesting. I do think about that, like just like once you know some people, it's much easier to get to know other people. Like I am the worst at just randomly going up to people and being like, hello, talk with me. Obviously, I don't even talk to cameras. I don't know what I'm doing. But like I did know a few people at VidCon, and we like walked around together, like especially me and Christy, who also has my hair. And we just like would go around and like meeting people together. It was like we were already in a social situation of our own instead of just like solo breaking into one, which felt less awkward for sure.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I feel like just
I suppose
sorry, just like
go.
You go. Oh my god.
Cool, I'll go. Fine.
Go. Yes, go for it.
Oh, time.
We're gonna give it a couple.
Great. We're just gonna spend the last 5 minutes just fighting back and forth about
Yeah, because you
like,
spend so much time telling each other to go. Greg, you go, and then we get to Rebecca.
There's a weird balance between having someone with you to help break the ice and appearing like you're in a clique that's roaming around the convention hall, being an impenetrable thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So how do you balance that?
I guess walking around on your own.
But then you're on your own and you can't talk to people. It's
So like
weird.
I'm kind of thinking about this from a perspective where I had a lot of people this year telling me that, oh, I saw you last year and I didn't say hi. And it's not like I'm PewDiePie, right? Like it's not like, oh, I didn't say hi to you because you're literally PewDiePie.
Yeah.
It's just like you seemed busy, but that I never feel busy at SITC.
Well, I feel that even though you're not PewDiePie, you're definitely respected to a very high level of just like. But I mentioned this in the comments. It's not like, oh, that's Taha, that's the guy with like a billion videos with a billion views each. It's more like, oh, that's Taha, the guy that everyone knows, and everyone's like, oh yeah, he's Taha.
Yeah, I think it's like the perception that there are a lot of other people who you know better that probably want to spend time with you. And I think that happens with a lot of YouTube people. And the other thing about like if people are hanging out in a group, it's like, well, they're all really good friends with each other. I kind of know one of them. How do I approach this? But I don't know. The thing I was going to say during that whole back and forth was just, I think one thing that helped a lot and that I've seen help other people as well is trying to just like for a second forget that you watch their videos, like that's why you're excited about meeting them, and just like try to meet them as though it is a random stranger that you are meeting and get to know them through other things first, and then sort of circle back to like, oh yeah, this is a cool thing about YouTube once you're on a more equal plane.
Yeah, I've had it sometimes where I feel like I go up to them, like with Sally, who like has done content with literally my favorite YouTube channel of all time, greatest people ever. They make everything perfect. Like Rooster Teeth, and I went up to her and was just like, I like Rooster Teeth and I like science, and then we like became friends. But sometimes you have to kind of like judge it, and you have to be like, okay, maybe the first thing I say to them isn't how much I love I love the videos. Yeah. And like maybe
like third or fourth.
Yeah, like a lot of the time I go up to people and I'm like, oh, so I watched that video that you made this one time. That bit was really interesting. What do you think about this perspective on that? And I have a really, really weird story, which is that, so I was at VidCon and I got into a lift with Marcus Butler, of all people. And I was like, I have nothing to say to this man. I've watched 0 of his videos. Then I remembered, like a week ago, I had watched 1 of his videos, and it was him reacting to Jake Paul. Like, it was like literally like a reaction video that I'd watched, being like, let's see, what would Marcus Butler have to say about Jake Paul? And I was really curious. So I was like, I'm going to watch this video. It's going to be great. And then I saw him in the lift, and I was like, so I was like, mate, I was like, you're Marcus Butler? And he was like, yes. And I'm like, I watched that one video where you made about Jake Paul, and then we laughed about Jake Paul. Then we talked for like 2 hours. Like, we got out of the list and we were just in the lobby, like talking for like 2 hours. And he is the most interesting person. But like, that's so weird, because that could have gone the other way. If I'd said, oh, you're Marcus Butler, like, I know your videos, but I kind of like picked a specific thing, maybe.
Yeah, I think like some icebreakers are better than others, and I don't think saying like I love your videos is an icebreaker. In fact, it like builds up the ice. So like saying like oh, that Jake Paul video, that's an icebreaker, and that can like lead on to more things, whereas just saying like I like your videos, there's nothing to say to that apart from thank you.
Yeah. If 1080 is still here, can you make the quote of any article you have saying I like your videos creates more ice? Emma Popcorn 2017.
Don't contextualize it.
Yeah.
Actual real ice.
Speaking of 1080, they put into the chat a while ago, like, would there be more value in more structured networking opportunity at YouTube events, like creator speed dating? Which, I don't know, what do you guys think of that?
I wouldn't attend. Like, I don't think I would want to do that. I don't know about you. And that's my initial thoughts, but I feel like some people would.
So, I definitely feel like there should be more things for a non-convention experience at SITC, more things to promote actual real-life human socializing, whether it be just not necessarily like a quiet area, but an area that's just.
I think for creators, like a creator, just like a hallway
Creative space.
like just like there's beanbags in a room, and
that's not a party, so people aren't drunk.
Yes,
because otherwise they just forget it. They just forget they've spoken to you.
And I don't drink, and I don't want to be part of that.
Then with something like that, you need to make sure it's I don't know the word, would it be destigmatized, to make sure that people aren't thinking, oh, do I deserve to be there,
or even this is a networking opportunity.
I
think
it's going to be purely social and hanging out.
But like, isn't that just what gatherings are? Sorry.
Just bring back regular gatherings again.
I feel like the speed dating thing could definitely feel like networking. Like there was it was actually very cool. There was like a filmmaker person networking thing at VidCon that I went to, but I was sort of like I was like, I love film people. But then I realized that like all the film people that I love are like queer women. And I was just like in a room with all these like straight white guys who were like, here's my business card. And I was like, goodbye. But it's just like sometimes the community that you like forget how specific and sort of not quite as structured or conventional the community that you want is.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Like just like having like being a creator in common with someone does not necessarily mean that that's going to be like the person that you click with.
Yeah, I went to a creator day at the YouTube space, and like I didn't make friends there. I spoke to people and they were like, what's your channel? And I was like, this is my channel. And they were like, oh, my channel's this. And that was our whole conversation. It wasn't interesting.
That's
sometimes when it's like forced, you get the wrong type of people there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of just want a place where I can just like, but then again, I feel like the floor is that, but then also it isn't, because it's like a bit different. You just need
it feels like
yeah, you need I guess you just need a kind of like place where you can just like sit on beanbags, like loads of beanbags in a room. I love beanbags. Beanbags are the key.
This is from the chat, like, why is networking so bad? Why isn't it considered genuine?
Right. It's because I feel that so often it's less about making connections and more about making stepping stones. And I don't mean that in like, oh, get over someone to get bigger. I mean like, I need to know this person so that I can make my voice heard. And that's all right, because everyone wants the voice heard. But opening with, what's your channel? Or opening with, what do you do, if you're a less YouTube person? It can often feel disingenuous and like you're trying to figure out who's who. Whereas if you open up with, so what are you passionate about? That's such a better way of socializing. And making
it's like if
friends.
you're trying to make friends, it's like, and that is also just like, you might be there to make like business connections, or you might be there to make friends. But if the people trying to make friends meet the people trying to make business connections, it's going to be kind of a mess.
That, like literally that. Like there are people there who are there for business, and I'm like, cool, I'm not here for business. I'm trying to just hang out. Like, have you seen the latest meme? Like, that's me. Like, I don't want someone to be like, well, I'm really working on this strategy to optimize the algorithm, and me being like, little Jake Paul made another thing. That's not going to work. And I definitely feel like that's like, you need a separation there, like somehow in these events.
Because I felt that the pub afterwards was the environment we're describing, but you can't just have loads and loads of people say, hey, we're going to use this pub now. It's got to be more structured, but the more you structure it,
it's like a paradox.
The thing about the pub is, everyone...
Okay, I'll let you talk.
Okay.
But like, I just want to say that the time is up and I want to get another round of people in a minute, but like, go. Okay.
The thing about the pub is that when it's in the kind of environment where it feels like everyone knows each other, and everyone's in like circles, and they're all like I walked into the pub when everyone, on the Sunday, where everyone was already there and they were all already talking, and I felt like, what do I do here? Like, it felt like a weird thing to infiltrate. But
I had this thing where I felt that as well, where I was like, oh well, I'm friends with loads of people and they all want to do different things, and I was like, oh, I know, I'll just bring them to the pub. Like, I'll just be like, I'm just going to bring these people to the pub and everyone can just hang out. And that didn't work. It turns out it just didn't work. Like, I brought Lana, Scholar, Nathan, and Eman to the pub, and like everyone would just kind of like, I don't know. It wasn't like kind of like a she doesn't even go here kind of thing. It was more like a we don't know how to like. Maybe I did a bad job of introducing everyone, but there's so many people there. I don't.
Yeah. It was definitely this weird situation, at least in the conversation I was in, where, because over the course of the pub, we'd realised that more and more people were arriving and our table just wasn't big enough, and people were starting new tables. And I think that's what you did, Emma.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you arrived with your crew, a couple of us just went, oh, this is our perfect opportunity to join the tables, make it bigger, and blah, blah,
and I didn't realise that's what you were doing.
Yep.
They were just
and
like,
you just sort of.
Are you guys saying in the comments about bringing on like someone who is simply a viewer for the next round of people? Because that's
yes,
really
I
good
have someone.
idea.
I have someone.
Oh, good.
Great.
Yes.
But yeah, you came in and you're like, okay, hi, this is these people. We're going to go and sit over there. And we were like, oh no. And then there was the whole personally victimized by Taha thing.
That was rude. That was just rude. That's what that was.
You caused it, mate.
I tried my best to make everyone friends. It just didn't work.
Do you guys want to like promo your channels?
Yes. Promo your channels.
Take it away.
I had to go first for introductions. So.
Okay, that's true. Okay, no, that's true. So pretty much everything I have is Gregor Maya. That's GregaMiah. Google it, you should find me. I'm still working on getting that YouTube URL because I used to be that ginger Brit, and I'm like rebranding.
Oh, you're the same guy.
Oh, really? Okay.
I get it now. Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Well, he used to, that's what his Twitter handle used to be, right?
Oh.
Yeah, my handle, but my like username that you can change at any point.
Yeah, and I was like, well, that guy stopped responding to everything. What happened to him?
Oh no!
And then I was like,
I rebranded because I realised that Ginger Brit has terrible search engine optimization, and that was my entire name. So I was like, I've ruined my life. But yeah, Gregor Maya. Just Google it, you'll find me. I make videos similar to this live stream right now, except just 12 minutes of me talking to a camera in my back garden. And also sometimes I do poetry. So there you go.
I'm not the only one. The comments are full of people being like, oh, you're that guy.
Oh. Okay. See, I somehow knew that. Like I caught the rebranding. I don't even know why. Great. Should I do the?
Yeah,
go for it.
Okay, great. Yes. Yeah. So my channel is just my name. I mean, I can type it again in the comments, and then on various social media, I'm like Rebecca_ish. It's like a statement about how like social media is, but also isn't us. You know, it's really deep.
That's lovely.
Thank you. And then yeah, I mean, there's also my web series, which Emma made a video about, which is also cute and tender and gay. So I can.
It's
type
called
that in the description too.
It's really good.
Nice. Okay. I'm gonna add the other people. Thank you very much for
Thank you for having us.
It's been a 10 out of 10 time.
Bye.
Bye. Right. Now this is the risky bit where I accidentally tweet it out.
Okay. I'm just gonna nip to the toilet while you do this.
Do it. Oh no. Rightio. What's happening here? Copy link. Come on. The person I had on just goes, wait, BRB, 8 seconds ago. Are you joking? Well, you got the link anyway. Hopefully you I'm just going to chat to the stream right now. What's happening? What's happening here? What's happening? I had some comments saved that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if Matty and I don't know if you're still in the comments. If you are, tell me what you thought about chatting and whether or not you felt the creative viewer divide and all of that. That would be cool. Let's see what else. Genuine question. This is from Lena, but we didn't get to talk about it. Genuine question. Why do people want to get into the YouTube space for socializing? I just get it to use equipment. Apart from that, I feel like it's over fetishized, and a place, and it's kind of like built up in their heads. So that's really interesting because I kind of see it as the same. You might have seen some pictures on Twitter of me like sitting in the YouTube space like in the last few weeks, and that's basically because it has really good Wi-Fi, and I like that because I don't. Like currently, I'm using, apparently, according to my sister, I'm using all of the house's Wi-Fi for this live stream. I can hear that someone's entered the. Oh, there are people.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
So, do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, you can go first.
Yeah, hello. My name's Louise. I'm a viewer, merely a viewer, and I write for 1080.
Yay.
Hey.
Yeah, that's about it.
I am Jake. My YouTube channel is relatively average.
God, you're meant to do that at the end.
Oh, sorry.
I'm joking.
I'm Jake. I've never done a hangout before. This is so weird. But yeah, my YouTube channel is relatively average. Like literally, the name is that. And I make chatty videos talking about various topics. So, yep.
Nice. Okay, I want to jump in with a question. Louise, how did we meet, and how was that? And how did that? What did you think? Like, tell me everything.
Okay, so part of this you don't actually know, I don't think. So we met at uni.
Yes.
I'd seen your videos, but previous to that, I'd spotted you at a Bri gig in Birmingham. I think my boyfriend said hello to you.
Okay.
Randomly. Yeah. And I thought I've got to like say something to you, but I didn't want to come across as like a fangirl because I don't make videos, and I didn't want to just come up to you and be like, hey, I love your videos. So the way I did it is the way I always do it now. I just came up to you and said, hi, I write for 1080, so I know who you are. And you are 1080 trash, so you got on board with that.
That is true. I love you guys. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you deliberately were like, I write for 1080, so
Yeah.
There's a difference in perception.
Yeah, I didn't want to just come across. I didn't want there to be like that dynamic you guys were talking about earlier between us.
Also, it was at the end of the play.
Yeah, it was.
And the people I was with didn't know I did YouTube, so that was a big conversation to have after that. They were like, "What is 1080? Who are you?" It was interesting. Yeah.
My question is, what can people do like to talk to creators if they're not creators without like having something like I write for 1080 so I know who you are to fall back on, because not everyone writes for 1080. So like...
No. I don't know. That was something I struggled with before 1080. I don't know. I don't feel like I can say much about that because before 1080, I didn't really feel part of the community. So when I went up to a YouTuber, it was just sort of, hi, I like your videos, and that was it. And I felt like it did have. Then again, I didn't really know much about the smaller YouTube community. So maybe if I did know that back then, that would have changed things. I don't know.
Maybe because creators kind of have the power in that situation. Maybe like it's our job as creators to like bring ourselves down and like just and to actually break the ice ourselves and not like rely on the viewers to like break the ice, like we said earlier. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, but then also I feel like it's difficult for a creator who has no idea who the viewer is to do that, because they're like, obviously if they have no idea who the viewer is, they've got nothing to immediately talk about, whereas the viewer in that situation maybe knows a lot about the creator, so they can do that. I don't know, it's a weird dynamic.
I think that if it relates to what Taha said earlier about the whole Marcus Butler thing. If you come to the creator with something you want to talk about, I think that would sort of make it easier in a way, rather than just, hi, I like your videos, because then it's something you can work off of. And if you sort of build up those ideas, and especially if it's like a video that was quite controversial or a video that really sparked something in your head, I feel that that could be more helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reflects what people are saying in the comments as well, and also what you said about like YouTubers need to take themselves down a peg. Ruby's mentioned this in the chat, and is something that like she said that Rowan does this well, but because she like asks questions to the person as well, like the people that you're talking to. And I definitely felt that. Like I had someone who said like, oh, you're really down to earth, and I was like, what does that mean? Like, what are you saying to me right now? Like, because they basically just were basically explaining that like one of the things that they didn't feel like they got from YouTubers at SITC was that like they felt like they weren't invested in like they're like, it just felt like a very one-way conversation. And like, because perhaps like I'm highly uncomfortable talking about myself, so like I'm instantly like, what are you doing? Like, what's interesting in your life? Like, what GCSEs are you doing? And like, what's difficult about them? Like, but that's also because it like everyone's doing something at school, or like career-wise, like they're doing something like that. So I'm a massive nerd, so I can like talk about that at length. So that's like an easy one for me as a creator. But like,
yeah, no, I get that, because I actually had a conversation with someone who watches my videos, and we ended up talking about like what jobs we had and how it can be hard because I go to gatherings and stuff, how it can sort of be hard to get those days off of work and all that stuff. So I definitely think that being more interested in their lives is good, because then it broadens the conversation like really like so far. No, yeah, definitely. Just like having an interest in the viewer. Like I personally like having an interest in them anyway, because they're interested in me. I feel like, you know, there should sort of be that dynamic. But yeah, no, I think it's definitely something that can help with conversation.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, a conversation is like between more than one person, and it's the responsibility of everyone in that conversation to like try, not just the viewer or just the creator. Do we have anything else to say?
I'm just gonna like I don't know. I'm gonna like do like a serious interlude. I'm not gonna discuss my university grades. Like I know it's like a meme right now in the chat. That's not something I'm gonna do. So like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for like cutting in there. Yeah. What was the last thing that was said?
We were talking about conversations and like responsibilities.
Go. Jake. I almost called you Ryan again.
Oh my god. You called me Ryan one time. I was like, what?
What I feel like your experience is an interesting one, because you are part of a YouTube group that is very much a group.
Yeah.
And so it's like this thing where like you guys, like you are such a like, it's like, I can't even describe it. It's like, not like, oh well, people know each other. Like you would just define yourself as a group. Like everyone knows it's a group. And I've like watched this group from afar from like 4 years at this point, and I'm just like, this is just a group. Like this is like, they're not connected with anyone else. Like it's just,
I'm actually starting to sort of try and broaden my horizons while staying in the group, obviously.
By playing Minecraft with me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But definitely after SITC, because this was my first year, for anyone that didn't know. So it was good going there, having that group of people. I've been in it for about 2 years now, I think. I actually joined like when I first started. I like started talking to some people over Twitter, and it is a very big group. There were about 22 people at one point just walking together, and it was, you know, a bit scary. But yeah, no, having that group really helped. And although it does seem a bit like no one can sort of, you know, converse between the group and outside of it, I guess. If you went over to Becky, for example, she had a merch stall. If you went over to that, you could see there was like not a meet and greet, like a gathering, basically going on there. And I think the way that the group works is that it's very natural, and especially with the viewers, we make sure that we can just talk with them casually, so that there is that natural sort of dialogue between people. And so I think that with creators too, you know, if there are groups of people, it shouldn't be hard to, you know, talk to people within the group. They should all be treated as sort of individuals, but then, you know, seen as that. Yeah.
You said you joined this group like 2 years ago. Was it like already kind of like an established thing then?
Oh
And,
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
How was
This
that?
is-
Like getting into that, what was that like?
This is so interesting because it's like they are like even the way Jake talks about that, it's literally like I joined the group. Like it's
like a cult.
like nothing like community where it's like a bit more wishy-washy. It's like everyone kind of knows each other. This is like for anyone who doesn't know, it's like Bambino Becky, Lydia, Alex Lenz, like Rowan Vlogathon, is that his name?
Yeah, you got people like that. You got Billy, Brimios and Joanna's Corner, loads of people.
But yeah, how was like getting into that?
Yeah, so like I said, I joined really early, and I was actually talking to someone in the chat about this. Basically, they were talking about how they found it hard to interact with people over Twitter because they felt that because they had a lower subscriber count, they didn't seem as popular in a way. And I guess it sort of relates to the school analogy. And I didn't have many at all. I had just started YouTube at this point, and I'd been going for like a month or two, and I just started Twitter, like barely just. And basically, I saw a bunch of vlogs on YouTube because I watch YouTube like it's television. And it was about Summer in the City, and I was like, what is Summer in the City? Like, I'd never heard of it. And suddenly, I saw like this one person's video, and then I was suddenly like watching someone else's and someone else's, and I realized that they were all connected and that they all knew each other, and it just seemed cool. It was like just a friendship group, and it felt really natural, and it is. So I followed like one of them on Twitter, sent them a DM like, hey, you know, your group seems really cool and all this, you know, you guys are pretty cool. And then they responded and we got talking, and then I started getting put in like group chats in Twitter with other people purely to make friends. And I think that's great. But yeah, that's sort of how I got to know everyone. And then the funny thing is, the group is so big and there are so many people that people know. I was still getting to know people at Summer in the City this year. Like, I didn't know everyone.
And you've been in it for 2 years.
Exactly. Like, I think it's sort of like there are smaller communities within the big community that is the group. I hate calling it the group. It feels like a cult or something. But yeah, so like I say I know like Alex. I know Alex really well. Like, we're really good friends, and people that he knows pretty well, I know pretty well as well. And then there are other people who I don't know as well, but sort of know, who's friends with people that I don't really know at all. So,
okay. So even
it's, yeah.
Interesting. No, I was just saying, like, even within the group, there is like, it's like there's like a clear distinction between when you're like in the group and out of the group, but also the friendships are not all like the same, or like
absolutely,
which makes sense.
Yeah, which makes sense. Like that many people, like you can't know them all on a similar level.
Yeah.
You said that you like DM'd one of them. Was that like straight after you started watching their videos?
Yeah, pretty much. It was the same.
I think that's interesting because I think it's easier to make friends with creators when you've only just like discovered them. Whereas if you like have been watching them for years and then you like start communicating with them, then that can be more of a like difficult dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I had that with Bernie Burns, the guy who's like the greatest man of all time, because Sam got along with him way easier than I did. And because Sam like doesn't really care about Rooster Teeth and never watched a thing, he's just like, oh, this is Bernie. I'm like, I know. But like I find that but I think that's because you in your head are like, there is this weird like the more I feel like the more the distance between two strangers connecting becomes, like the more it becomes like one-sided. It like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have a question for Louise though. How?
Yes. Hello.
how? So pre 1080, well, not even pre 1080.
Yeah.
No, actually, yeah, definitely pre 1080. Because I guess now you're just like, hi, I want 1080, and they're like, cool. how does that how did the community seem from that perspective?
I think my view of the community was sort of, I didn't consider the smaller YouTuber community for some reason. I just saw kind of viewers and bigger creators as this like binary thing. And it was I went to Summer in the City sort of 1 year just as a fan, and it was very much like Emily was saying before, like it was collect the YouTuber. I don't know, it just felt like something that was very distant to me. And so then when I joined 1080 at first, it was very strange because, yes, hello, what?
People are saying, what is 1080? 1080 is like, I would describe them as like the BBC of YouTube. They're like the news place. That's where I go. It's like, they do like good quality journalism on YouTube
great
stuff. I love it. 10 out of 10. 1080 out of 1080. Yeah, sorry. That's what that's.
Yeah, so straight away when I joined 1080, I was like having to be professional around these people I'd watched for years, and it was really strange going from sort of fan to being in almost a work environment with them. It was odd, but cool.
Yeah, that was something that was strange. Yeah. Sorry, that was something that was strange for me at SITC this year, because I, even like before SITC this year, I would consider myself like quite a big fan of a lot of bigger creators. And I had a green room pass this year because I was on a panel, and it was so strange to be in this different environment with these people, because I was used to seeing them like in a meet and greet situation, but just seeing them like just hanging out and like making connections and like, I don't know, behind the scenes was just such a strange experience. I don't know.
I found it so depressing. The first year I went into the green room, I hated it and was just like, I'm here to steal food. And that was me. I literally, the only thing I did in the green room was I went up, I was like, right, 4 of my friends want food, and I would just like stare the guy in the eye and just take loads of food. It was a great time.
That was basically me.
Yeah, it was a very weird experience, especially when all your friends are like
not in there.
Yeah. I'm just going to give you a heads up that there is 50 seconds left on this.
Well, that was pressure.
Time limit? No.
Yeah. Oh, Sally's back. So I guess we'll do one more.
Should we plug?
Do you guys want to plug your channels or channel? Sorry,
social media. People
social media.
Louise, you can go first again.
My Twitter, I guess, because I don't have a channel, is Lou Griffin with 2 M's. And also I just want to plug 1080 because it's great. So
1080
check it out.
Can confirm. I am 1080 trash.
You are.
I still didn't. I was promised one of those stickers, but I never got one. So I'm sad.
A 1080 team sticker. Did you not get one?
No. I was like, can I have one?
Oh.
But yeah.
Jake? I'll get Dan to give you one next year.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, my channel, like I said, is relatively average. It's just that, and then my Twitter is relatively _av, because it's a character limit. I would have put relatively average, but you can't. So that was a lesson learned. But yeah, that's basically it. That's also on every other social media as well, I'm pretty sure. So. Yeah.
And we play Minecraft together.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Literally, it's been such a weird experience. Oh my god. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for being on.
No problem.
I have the final 2 people. Emma, stop me if I try and get anyone else on.
I'll try.
Okay. Let me invite them. So we've got, well, I don't know if John is still here, but John, I saw you say lol at the concept of the community, and I'm like, tell me your thoughts. So if you want to do that, there is a DM waiting for you. If not, I will have to get someone else on. So.
Right, well, it's been real. See ya online.
See you later.
Yes, thanks guys, thank you.
Bye-bye.
I see Lydia quoting me. We'll finish at 10. Listen, when have I ever... It's John. He's here. How are you doing? You have no audio, Mr. John. I think the problem is that your headphones probably don't have a microphone on it. And so when you plug it in, your computer thinks it's got a microphone, but it doesn't. Nope. Still not. Can you do it on your phone? Are we just gonna stare at John? John, we literally can't hear anything you're saying. I don't know what he's gonna do. But Sally's here. Her audio and video isn't working, so that's a thing.
So it's the time when we just have to wait for people to arrive. It just happens every 15 minutes.
I guess we can just like read the old chat. Yeah. My Twitter is non-binary. Oh, I remember that.
I think lots of people are sharing their Twitters. It's all a very friendly time.
Nice. Everyone make friends, and then we'll have an army.
When you said that at the end of the Small YouTuber panel, like we got in so much trouble because people wouldn't leave.
Yeah, I know. People had words with me. Like big important people were like, "Listen, you can't just tell people to stay in the panel room." I was just like, I thought it was the last one. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Please hire me next year. Someone just wrote Khan in all caps. Okay. Oh, I think that's John. I think we can hear you. No, that's not you. Sally, can you say something? Nice. Well, we could just chat until they figure that out.
Yeah.
Let's see. Me, Matty, and I. You're back in the old chat.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Ooh.
Oh, we could.
We could. RIP. For a split second, we heard you. Okay, I'll ask the question to me, Matty, and I guess your name is Matty, so I'll just call you Matt. Yeah, the question I asked is like, you said hi to me on Sunday, and it was nice talking to you about the Warwick Coventry rivalry. Did you feel like you were treated like a fan?
idea what's going on.
Oh.
We can hear you, but really garbled. We're waiting on Matty. Matt.
What was the question for Matty?
It was like, so we chatted about like, what is going on here? Okay. It was basically like, we chatted about like uni stuff, and I wanted to ask him whether he felt like there was a creator viewer dynamic. No, it was a nice, genuine conversation. Perhaps because like school is like a normal thing to talk about and not like a YouTube thing. What do you think? I don't know. Have I lost you as well?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, no. Good.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think YouTube conversations are kind of nice because like that's what everyone has in common that's there. So it's not a bad thing to talk about. But then also school is fine. Like any conversation topic is fine as long as it's not just I like your videos, thank you. Basically, that's my genuine philosophy.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Right, how about this? Seeing as John and Sally have tech issues, let's just do like, I'll put another timer on. Let's just do 15 minutes of questions from the chat, and then we'll just end it. How about that?
Sounds great.
How about that? All right. The timer is going on. Write your questions. I will be trying to save them so we don't get like a bunch of them.
Just gotta wait for the touch to start.
What's the best conversations you've had with viewers? The best conversation that I had with a viewer was with the conversation I had with the 13-year-old person and their mum, because I was really interested to talk about like parenting someone while they're on YouTube, because that space is quite like filtered. Also, Rob, put the question in the chat. I'm not checking Facebook. Sorry for being like naughty Rob, but like if I just have like certain streams of information currently up on my screen. But what was your most interesting thing?
This sounds bad, but I can't think of one. Like, I just think that I'm so uncomfortable in that situation that I can't enjoy it. So like the most enjoyable conversations I've had with people who watch my videos is with people whose videos I also watch. Like, because I'm just on more equal grounds with them.
Okay, that makes sense. Interesting. That's quite. I mean, that's quite strange to hear to me, because like I don't think I've had last year. I had a couple conversations where I felt like I didn't have an interesting conversation, and then I thought about it a little bit more. I was like, how can I prevent that this year? So like I was like on the opposite side, where I don't know if I've had a conversation which felt, I don't know, it's different.
But I think I'm more of an awkward person than you. So yeah. Like that might just be who I am. Like, but I don't know. I'm going to try harder next time to try and have actual interesting conversations. Actually, no.
You don't have to.
This SITC, I ran into this girl who watched my videos who I'd spoken to on Instagram, and she and her friends all had like these amazing, like they all had pride flags, and they were all really lovely. And I think that was probably the best conversation I had.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun.
So Mariam has not a question, but a comment that I thought was cool. She said, please tweet me / DM me if you want to be part of the group chat. I guess there's a group chat now. So
are we going to create a new group? Like it?
I guess so. With like Che, Lena, and like this weird. Anyway, but yeah, if you want to do that, then you can tweet at her. I'm going to put her Twitter at in the chat right now. There you go. Let's have a look. How do you think it feels when you are friends with a YouTuber and vice versa?
What does that mean?
I guess it's just like, what are the differences between like a normal friend and someone who does YouTube? And are there any? I think one of the things is like when there's a big view disparity, subscriber disparity, like with Che, I was like, oh, well, I'd love to make a video about that in my head with you. But then I was like, oh, wait, I've only met you like once in real life, so like that's not going to happen. I've had that with a couple of people who would be considered big, because when they're smaller, I'm just like, let's make the video, which I have done. And then I proceeded to lose the collab footage. So,
oh, dear.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ironically, I find it easier to collab with my like real life friends that don't do YouTube than collabing with actual YouTubers. I don't know why.
Yeah, the only like quote unquote collab that I've done is with Marco and Robin, who's Cave Town. Because like I know Robin from school as well, and then Marco is he's a 10 out of 10 solid dude that I like, and we like get along like outside of YouTube because he doesn't do YouTube, and like that's because we have the same sense of humor kind of thing. Like on YouTube, the shared interest is YouTube, whereas like in my real life friends, like my shared interest is the humor.
I feel like to be friends with someone, you need more than just the shared interest of YouTube. Otherwise, you could just be friends with like anyone who does YouTube.
That's
like
true.
You need to be, I don't know. I always say like you need to be like on the same wavelength with someone, or at least like be like, I don't know. To be like close friends with someone, you need to be on the same wavelength as them. So it's not like you can have like none of the same interests as them. Like my best friend is like a scientist person who doesn't make anything, and I'm like a creative person, but like because we have like the same sense of humor, like that's what makes us friends. And I feel like with some of my YouTube friends, the ones I'm closer to are the ones that like, even if like they didn't do YouTube, even though that's how we met,
Yeah.
like we would be friends anyway, because it's like it's not about that. But yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Actually, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because like a lot of my like, I have a friend who is becoming a paramedic. Another one works at a supermarket full time. Someone else is doing film, and then it's me like doing politics, philosophy, and economics. Like they're like very different. And then like in terms of YouTube, like it's the same sort of thing. Like the people that I get along with the most are the people who are like more like nerdy. I don't know how to like describe it. So like me and Sally got along loads, I think partly because we have like a shared sort of like, I don't know, I'm like, I like science, but I'm not a scientist, but like that, I get that.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like the people that I'm friends with the most are the people who, even though they do YouTube, well, not even though, like other people on YouTube that have really long conversations or like to do that. And also people who can just put up with the fact that I'm just terrible at replying to people online. If you can't put up with that, then this friendship probably won't work. Right. Question. What is your opinion of creators that don't create often, yet they don't engage in the content they watch? Do you think that also part of the community or no? I mean, there's no like the community. Like it's just like if you feel like you're part of it, then you are.
I feel like the community is just knowing people. It's just like, I don't know, you don't even have to make videos to be part of the community. Like there are people who barely ever upload that are part of the community. That wasn't a call out.
I've uploaded twice in 2 weeks. It's not much, like I'm immune to this now.
But yeah, like it's not the community, like it comes from YouTube and creating, but that's not what sustains it.
Yeah.
Like what sustains it is like conversations and talking to people and like friendships. So.
Yeah. I agree. I'm glad we agree. Do you think the meet and greet culture at the moment is decreasing or increasing the divide? I'm going to go with increasing, like solid, definite. Like I don't really think that there's a like the meet and greet culture. Absolutely. Like, oh god, I have so many thoughts on this. I'll let you go first.
It's a shame though that I agree that it does, but it's a shame that it does because the whole point of meet and greets is to do the opposite of that. Like it's like literally breaking down the divide of like being on opposite sides of the screen. Like you're coming together in real life to actually talk. Like the whole point of meet and greets was supposed to be that, but like it's turned into something that just increases it and like it enforces this hierarchy. So
yeah, I also felt like the meet and greet culture itself has like we talked about before, like we're like, there are people who are now just emulating, they're just emulating things that they've seen meet and greet, like the conventions of meet and greets like we talked about, but we don't need to do that. Like there's a necessity for that because of the fact that the meet and greet cultures are like time pressured, and so every interaction is time pressured.
Hello.
Sally!
I am so dark. I don't know how I can change this. But I thought at least I'd come and say hi so that I can continue making technical changes whilst you continue the chat. Sorry about that. I had to boot up my big computer.
No worries.
Don't ask. Good chat though. Great chat.
Yeah, I'm not known for chatting for a small amount of time, so it's been good. You said some stuff that I
oh dear, oh god, what have I done?
It was interesting.
Good stuff or bad stuff?
Good stuff. So I came up to you and was like, I like Rooster Teeth and I like science.
That is
What?
not how it happened, Taha.
I don't remember how it happened.
It was at the end of a dinner at VidCon Europe. It was my first YouTube event, so I didn't really know anyone there, but I just got to know all the people that I was sitting with. And Sam had wandered over.
I'm already cringing.
And then just out of nowhere, this random guy, comes up and says, "Oh my God, are you Sally from Rooster Teeth? I just want to say hi. I think you're great. I love science. We should be friends," or something like that.
Nice.
It was so smooth. But then you were actually, and then we spent most of VidCon hanging out, so it's great.
Yeah. So they just do that.
Yeah.
Ambush people at dinner.
I can't believe that worked. That sounds like my worst nightmare.
Emma,
Well, I would never do that to anyone else. This is the thing: is that I feel far too embarrassed to talk to people like that. But yeah, you managed.
Emma, you know I'm 2 for 2 on asking for follow backs. I'm so happy with myself. Like both Sam and Nathan followed me back because I just asked them to, and I was like, "How did this work?" But yeah, so that's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but I'm just proud of that stat. I'm also 2 for 2 on Alfie Days liking my tweets every time I mention him. So
oh dear,
that's an achievement.
Those are my 2 achievements on Twitter.
There we go. You can kind of see my face now.
Yeah,
that's as good as you're getting. I'm a totally semi-professional YouTuber, right?
Oh, and also you also said about how you felt like there was a YouTube vlogging like community and you had to kind of form your own.
Oh yeah, whenever anyone mentions the YouTube community, that only
you might want to introduce yourself first. Sorry.
Oh yeah, hi. I'm Sally. I make science videos because I'm a scientist. I'm doing my PhD at the moment, which is why I had to leave to go to the lab, even though it was 9 o'clock at night. So yeah, I make videos about science, but then I also ended up making science videos with Rooster Teeth. Don't ask, long story. But they are a very, very big channel, and I am not a very, very big channel, and so it's very weird that in some circles I'm seen as like a big YouTuber because I'm a YouTuber on a huge channel, but in other circles like no one has a clue who I am. So yeah, so that's me. What was I saying? Yeah, UK YouTube. Whenever anyone talks about UK YouTube, they are exclusively talking about the vlogging and very occasionally the gaming communities, but never the educational communities ever. That's just a thing that it's very weird, and the educational community is much stronger in America than it is over here. So I basically had to make my own community, and I was actually just asking on Twitter earlier if anyone sees me as part of a group, and basically no one does. It's a very different thing to the whole vlogging thing.
The thing is, I feel like if you're vlogging, then you're more likely to show your group. Whereas if you're making educational content, then that's not really necessarily relevant.
Well, a lot of educational YouTubers do work with that. So, for example, I'm not a physicist; I'm a biologist. But if I'm making a video that crosses over between biology and physics, it would make sense for me to bring in a physics YouTuber. And I have a whole series where I interview other science YouTubers about how they got their career in science communication, partly because I just like to make friends with people, and it's a great opportunity to be like, you're a cool person in my area and my field, you know what, we should totally spend an hour chatting about you. But that's a bit of a weird thing to say, so I just say, hi, can I interview you on Sober Science? And it's a bit easier that way.
Maybe it's got something, I don't know, this might be wrong, but it's got something to do with people viewing like certain channels more as fun and some more as like work. Like, I don't know, like I think if someone's like daily vlogging their lives, that can look more like, I don't know, something like that's, I don't know, I don't know what I'm saying, I've lost my train of thought. But
you mean the difference between entertainment and education within the entertainment world? Sorry, I joke just because we had entire panels based on that. Is where do you draw the line between entertainment and education? And I found the exposure button. Yes! I don't have to have my lamp right in my face. Oh my god, I'm such a, like, you can actually see me now. Look at that. Sorry, I completely lost my track.
Other question. Oh wait, I've forgotten the question. Nice. How was SITC in terms of that? Like, it's a very sort of like UK vlogger dominated space, and like you aren't a UK vlogger.
If I hadn't been to VidCon before SITC, I would have felt so out of place. I was very lucky that I had been to VidCon, which has got more of an educational focus, I would say, just because it's founded by two people that host a huge educational empire. Whereas SITC was started by a bunch of UK vloggers. So I knew a few educational people at VidCon, and then through VidCon and being in the green rooms, I met a few vloggers. And so coming to SITC, I already slightly knew a few vloggers, and then they can introduce me to new people. Because as I was saying in the chat a few hours ago, because this has been going on forever, I find it really hard to go up to someone whose videos I've been watching for the past 5-7 years or something and be like, you're really cool, I know that, I think we would get on, let's chat, great, cool. I'm terrible at that, so I will almost ignore the people whose stuff I watch, and then just hope that I can be introduced through a friend of a friend, and pretty much all the people that I know is through a friend of a friend.
I can, this is my perspective of us meeting, is that to you it seemed like out of nowhere, but I was waiting for an opportunity to be like, okay, now I can go up and introduce myself. It wasn't like, you were just always in deep conversation whenever I looked over, so I was like...
Of course. But when I walked into that dinner, I didn't know a single person in the room. And then luckily Hannah Witten turned out to be there as well, and so I knew one person in the room going in that night, which was terrifying. But I think it is very much that trying to meet the first few people. And I wouldn't call myself a socially awkward person either. Whilst I find it difficult introducing myself to people whose stuff I like, but it's very difficult to have a conversation. You're relying on them being able to make conversation with you. I find it quite natural talking to people that I don't know if I've just been introduced by someone else. Yeah. So in that situation, it's a bit easier.
I agree.
It's really difficult trying to say cohesive sentences whilst also reading the chat. I don't know how you've been doing it.
I mean, we've mostly just been ignoring a lot of the chat, to be honest.
I've been reading everything.
I've been ignoring it. I've just been following what you've been saying.
Yeah, I mean, we do have, how much time do we have? We have 4 minutes.
Right.
I guess we can do closing remarks.
A lot of people were asking earlier, like, what is the solution to the
What is the solution?
That's,
yeah.
Which I'm like, I don't know.
I don't think there can be. I think it's pure mathematics.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think that, like, there's like a numbers element to it. It's like, how can one person who like X number of thousand of people want to hang out and chat with be able to provide that level of like creator viewership? But I definitely, or like relationship. But I definitely feel like we have said things in the chat in this conversation that, or like practices or things that people can keep in mind while they're interacting with viewers, or people who are the creator viewer, which is a great term, like creator viewer, like a creator who is also a viewer of someone.
But isn't that just common sense advice teaching people how to be better human beings and how to make conversation? Is any of it specific to being a creator talking to a viewer?
Yes, because I feel like there's an asymmetry of information, and that's not something that is just like common sense, because it's a weird place to navigate.
I have one thing to say before we leave. Like, you can't change like how anyone else thinks. Like, you can try, but you can't, like, the only person you can change is like yourself, and the only thing you can change is your perception of other people and your perception of yourself. So I think the most important thing is perceiving yourself as equal to other people and perceiving them as equal to you. Like, I know it's hard, but if you see people as better than you or see people as worse than you, then that's what creates the dynamic. It's people's perceptions. So you have to value yourself in these situations, and that will make everything so much easier. that's why I learned this. Yeah.
Nice. I think it's a good place to start. What do you think?
It's
Also,
optimistic.
Jake Paul is on H3H3, so I kind of want to jump on that anyway. I don't want to watch that, but great. I think this has been really great. Don't know about you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Nice.
I enjoyed it, mostly from the chat side of things, because
Do you want to plug your channel?
/shed science, SHED science, not shared if you're American. I make mostly biology videos, and at the moment I'm making a load of videos about fly sex because I just published a paper on fly sex,
which I tried to read but didn't understand.
Did you not understand it? I thought it was actually quite legible compared to most biology papers. I'd say it's
I've only done GCSE biology.
That's who my channel is aimed at, people who have only got a GCSE level in science. But on Monday I'll be making a 3-minute summary of it, so that should help you, Taha, if I can finish editing it. So that's my channel, and then occasionally I'm on Rooster Teeth, but that's much more of a spontaneous thing.
Yeah, I'll definitely have another go at reading it. It was probably because it was late and I was tired.
Don't read it unless you're fresh and ready to read non-science words.
What was I going to say? I was going to say something else. This has been great. People have suggested I do a podcast. I am working on it. What else? Am I going to do this more regularly? Probably.
Is this going to be the last live stream before you move to Canada?
Canada, yeah, probably.
Does that mean that then you're going to ignore all the small UK YouTubers in favour of the Canadian YouTubers?
No, I would never do that. No, I don't even know anyone in Canada. I know 2 people now. So yeah.
Well, everyone tweet Taha with your favourite Canadian YouTubers.
Oh please, I need friends. So yeah, Emma, do you want to plug your channel? Your channel is in the description of this, by the way. So.
I'm Emma Popcorn. I'm Emma_Popcorn on Twitter. I make videos talking about stuff. Sometimes it's YouTube stuff like this, sometimes it's not. And it's all about like discussion and all that jazz. So.
And now I'm going to plug my channel. Oh, what a time. Perfect. Brilliant, fantastic. Follow me on Twitter if you aren't already. That's where I do most of my joking around and chatting. You'll get like long threads about something deeply philosophical or something, then you'll get memes. So that's what you can expect. Also, if you haven't watched the last 2 videos I made, I was really proud of them, so you could do that. But there's like 80 people here, and I assume everyone's watched it. So yeah, cool. I guess bye to everyone in the chat. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
How do I do this? How do I start? Hold on.